I'm gonna bring the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen meeting to order for December 19th, 2024. Special start time tonight is 6 P.M. Well, it's because we got a lot of stuff on the agenda as far as budgeting goes. I have some old business from the previous meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular minutes of December 5th, 2024 as amended.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Here you go, Mike. Next one is gonna be the non-public for December 5th, 2024. I'll make the motion on that one.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion?
Those are not to be sealed.
No, I didn't see anything in here that was,
Okay. That's fine then, I'm good.
no, there's nothing in here that's too sensitive, I don't think.
Okay.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting of December 12th, 2024.
I'll second that motion. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mike, you wanna do the last one?
Yep. I'll make a motion. I thought that one was.
That's December 12th, 2:30.
Got it.
For sure.
I'll make a motion to
Approve
approve the
December
special
12th.
meeting, Thursday, December 12th at 2:30 PM.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
Okay, none of these I saw had anything that needed to be sealed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'm gonna open up to public comment if anybody's not on the agenda.
Just get going.
Looks like nothing so far.
Mike, you missed this one.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Justin.
Town business, we're gonna go to Town Clerk Jennifer for her proposed budget for 2025. Jennifer, you're up.
Okay,
I did not state for the record, but we have the town clerk with us. And also we have Mary Gerard, the library director, here tonight so far.
so you have the budgets already in front of you?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll start from the bottom up. We at town clerk?
Yep.
Okay, so record preservation, no change, it wasn't expended this past year, maybe I'll make some plans for the following year, okay? A lot of things
That's not
going
bad.
on. State dog licenses, marriage licenses, and vitals, those are all, the expenses only come when we have income. So whatever we collect, we pay a portion to the state. So those are just estimates. When we pay more, it's actually a good thing, cause it means we had more income. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we really don't have control over those. Then we come to elections. And I had mentioned, or sent an email that beginning next year, the legislature has passed a law where we need this accessibility device. Right now, we're using the One for all of the state elections. Now we need to use it for the town election as well, where we set up that voting booth, and there's the special pad and printer and different things. So, we're going to incur a programming expense, which could be up to about $2,500. I added that to the election admin ballot services, which is that first all cap election budget, which is why instead of the budget going down from what we spent this past year, it's going up. The good thing is most of that.
Which line are you on that?
I'm on the part that says includes $2,500 to program One for All. It's the all caps elect,
Okay, yeah,
or
I
sorry,
see that.
2,130. So that line isn't as low as it typically would be, and, usually we don't expend
So
that
you're looking for
low.
6155?
Yeah, that's if we had to pay, mostly if people volunteer. but we need to budget, so
Is
that's
it
got the
the-
payroll in it.
So let me ask you this, so you're
Mhm.
6155, but in that line, you said you added 2,500,
Yes, so that includes the 2,500.
but we have less, elections, so that's why you're only at 6155.
Right,
Okay,
yeah, there's many fewer elections.
okay,
In theory, I mean.
I'm with you.
Things go up if we unexpectedly have another election. Right now, we're expecting one election,
Mhm.
so that's that line. The election expenses and meals, so that's 8,100 because 1,100 is for expenses and meals. And then up to $7,000 for purchasing a one-for-all. This March, the state is going to loan us theirs again. But from then on, we need to purchase one. There may be
So that
federal,
one we
state-
use at the bigger elections, we don't have, that's not ours?
No, they ship it to us every election.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they mail it out every
Could we
election.
buy the used one from them for a low price?
Well, unfortunately, it
Don't
would
we
be
wanna
nice,
rent?
but they're actually looking at upgrading and not, there's some concern. I went to a vendor, the Secretary of State's office sponsored not a fair, but a demonstration where they had 3 different vendors who were vying to be the state's new, whether they call it one for all or whatever they call it, the accessibility device
Right.
supplier. So I went to that yesterday, interviewed all 3 of the vendors to get information on how their systems would work. One of them is the current vendor, they have a new system. They're not actually sure that their existing system will support town elections.
So that's a drawback.
They're saying that we think we'll be able to hopefully program it, but they've never dealt with the town election, they've done state ones. And of course, we have multiple ballots for
Would we have
town
one use of
school.
that this time?
Probably, yeah, it's barely used,
Very good.
so,
We have to have it.
Well, we can hope, but the thing is, if it's not, we may be forced to buy one, is what you're saying, so you're
Right.
budgeting appropriately for it.
and the ideal would be that the state will be allocating some funds, that we won't be expending the entire amount, but we need to budget for the full amount.
So
And
again,
this
the
is
reason
what
you
they've
didn't-
advised.
So again, the reason you
Is
didn't
it-
go up by the full amount is because you have many less elections.
So last year we had budgeted 2,000, but instead, yeah, it's 8,100 because 7,000 of that is
Right.
the,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm good.
on that. And then the deputy town clerk and the town clerk just, have those 3% COLA increases.
Seems reasonable. I don't see any issues in
So,
it.
are we gonna get a deputy town clerk?
Well, that is the plan. I just made another step, towards that today. I felt a very important thing to do before I advertise.
Your desk clerk is working well as a supplement,
Yes, yeah, I mean, she's not here nearly often enough,
Right.
but yeah, she's one, Pam is wonderful.
and that would be the same budget line as the deputy, or with? is
Yeah, that is coming out of the deputy line right now.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
so, and we'll just have a few.
And you're keeping your
hundred-
hours up because you're figuring training time for deputy and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so there'll be training for the deputy, and my hope is that you all will consider including mileage for town employees, so that the deputy would be reimbursed for that.
Going to the bank.
Yes, going to the bank, going to training. Yeah,
I
it
think for
won't-
training,
and
I
that
think for
could come-
training, we normally do cover it normally, I think, I'm not sure.
Or,
If they go like, let's say, northern New Hampshire, let's say it's in Plymouth,
yes, those are included for mileage, it's the day-to-day deposits that
that's
we do
not
not,
included.
because then we have to open it up to the treasurer, the tax collector, the town
Yeah.
clerk.
But for training, it's usually, I think it's an all-inclusive, we do cover some
Correct.
mileage for
Training,
that.
oh, we do?
Well, when you go to your conference, you get
Is-
mileage.
That's the only thing that I know of that Linda or I have ever gotten mileage for is for the
Correct.
conference.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's once a year.
right.
There's a lot of different trainings that we go to besides
Well,
that.
I go to training, I send Hope to training, we all have training, optional training, or, to improve on your position, it could be Health Trust that offers training.
Right, would mileage be included in those?
No,
Okay,
no, they just get paid the hourly rate.
okay. something, I'm gonna put a note for that, we can discuss.
Right, I know it's not for now, but just my plug for that, it would be helpful.
So for all training in banking, is that what you're hoping for, is that what your goal is, or
Yes.
just training?
Yes. is your-
Yeah, training and banking, I mean, any other job I've ever held, whether it was a low paying or high paying, if you were traveling on business, you got reimbursed. It wasn't
Yeah.
if it's, you know, what
I
type
hear
of
you, we
travel
have
it
had that
was.
discussion before, so, before we're done our budget season, we'll take a look at it. Okay,
Yeah, I
anything
mean,
else for your budget?
so in my case, if that came out of the deputy town clerk line, that would be, I'd be okay with slightly fewer hours to know that my clerk was being, compensated appropriately
Okay,
for that. One other thing I wondered if we consider is file cabinet. Not budgeted in here, and there is some
we can
between
do
the
that out of
two
our,
elections budgets.
we can do
for
that
this-
out of our file cabinet, I mean, out of our maintenance line.
Yeah, what she's saying, she'd like to get a fireproof one, and it's, you've gotten prices on them, or no?
Yes, yeah, I got 3 quotes, one was sent to me and the other 2 were online. And I do have, I will at the year's end still have some in the current year election budget, and I could dedicate this to elections, the file cabinet.
I just soon do it out of our maintenance line.
I don't know that I have enough to cover it all for that.
But, you have money left over in your budget already this year, could it be encumbered with 3 quotes in right now, it's kinda late in the year, but could it be encumbered, so she has the quotes, we can
Yes.
just quickly,
And then I think I have enough, I don't know what other prices that you've gotten.
well, we should execute now, rather,
Right.
just execute now.
Well, order it, yeah.
Right, it was close to, and then I guess the other question is to make sure, I was gonna put it next, right along the line where you said it's reinforced, but it's like 600 pounds or something for a
You can
1
add
hour
another one there,
fireproof, right? So I'm gonna take out one of the smaller ones,
But that's not a fireproof one that you're taking out.
right, not a fireproof one, so that's the other thing, and then move
Well,
over.
if nothing else, we can have our, guy go down there and reinforce directly down to the
Yeah.
slab.
But it was including the delivery on site into where you want it to sit.
Yeah,
It was about 4,000 was the lower cost.
4,000, how tall is it? Is it tall?
It's a 4 drawer, but it's legal across instead of letter.
Yeah,
And
and
you
you're
have,
shy of that room now to have your documents protected.
this would be
Yes,
for
yeah,
elections, right?
I'm-
You said you wanna use it for
Yeah, I
elections.
went for a dedicated cabinet. We've got the very wimpy 2 drawer one that's not file secure. And that, we don't have enough room for, half the stuff is in another file cabinet and then it's in the shelves in the back and.
funds wise, you have enough in the election line this year,
This year to cover most of it. To cover,
how much is remaining that needs to be covered by the town, by
well, I guess it depends if you're looking at the elections
Your
budget
election line
or
only had 2,000.
at everything, cause
everything,
we are
everything, this,
technically over in the state dog license, et cetera, but like I said, that's.
yeah, but everything, at the net, do you have enough right now in your existing budget, aggregating everything?
Just about, I think there's almost 4,000 if I just look at least.
It looks like you've got,
429,
actual is
9,200.
5180.
So I think it's just over, based on my calculations, I had just over 4,000.
Yeah, Dave, I think that'd be all right.
I'm looking at your lines here, you got 11,429, and your
Right.
actual is 5180.
Yeah, but she
Yeah, so if we
overspent
add the
2,000 on
11
the other
and
one.
the 2,000, we get 13,429.
But you have some payroll
And
out
then-
there as well.
Payroll,
There's what you're looking at bottom line, Dave, includes 2 more payroll,
we're just looking at elections.
okay, just that
So
particular
if we
line.
add the 11,429 and the 2,000, 13,429. We compare that to
She had
the actual 5180 and 4025 is about 9,200.
Mhm.
So that's a little over 4,000.
42 or 42, 24.
So you have enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if we just look at elections, yeah, there's enough, cause the payrolls aren't gonna go
And that file
Over
cabinet's
what
gonna be
the budget.
dedicated to elections,
dedicated to elections.
and you need it to be fireproof?
I think that would be best, we have.
You're
a-
not fireproofing them now, right?
We have some things in a different fireproof cabinet, but we have very little fireproof space total,
I'm just wondering if it's required only for the weight, cause we're gonna have to have some more
Mm.
work done underneath, I think. For support of it. Cause you're adding those up, you know, right there, these are much lighter than those ones.
Would you wanna defer, pay for it now, but defer delivery for it until we get underneath there?
I would think so, cause we're gonna have to have, what's his name,
Greg Miller?
Greg, come in and look right below where she has her line there now, just to make sure we can secure it.
Unless you can find another spot on a different wall.
No, there's no better, I went under there, there's no better,
yeah,
on our
it's
other
kinda
walls, they're
like on
open walls.
this line or so.
Yeah, that wall there is one of the original dividing walls, so it's closest to them.
Ah,
When you put it out in the other walls, they're out in the open part of the room, so they're,
I'll discuss it with her, and if we think we can get it to work and get Greg Miller to do
Yeah.
something, then we'll place the order.
I think Greg should look at it anyway, right where it's going, cause he can crawl under there and put some supports under there if we're adding that
Before the snow flies.
600 pounds of load. It's nice
Right,
inside
yeah.
work
Well,
for him.
600
I
pounds
mean, if
just for the
somebody
cabinet,
has-
never mind all the files.
Yeah.
this was, these
Or
quotes
if I go
were,
to stand there,
these quotes were all for Fire King, if there's a better, different that equally as good, or a way to be, fireproof and not.
I don't know anything about those fireproof cabinets, if you
Not
guys
as
have a
heavy,
better
you
vendor,
know,
you can check it.
We don't typically, we have the two that we have in our office right now in the tax collector, and in my office for AP is a 2-drawer fire, and that's been there for over 20 years, so I don't know where they came from.
Can I have your lowest vendor, or your written vendor?
Yeah, you can have a stack,
I don't need the stack, just the one.
just the one, you don't want fire, the, lower one was this, and then the delivery is about 300.
Okay. I'll make a motion, for the town clerk's office to,
We need to make a motion with this?
I'm making a motion, you're gonna second it?
For what? It's in her budget.
I'm gonna show you guys. We're gonna make a motion, just use the expense out of our budget, to purchase a Fire King, 4-draw, file cabinet for election material. And, the funding of it's gonna be used out of her election line on her budget. Up to $4,000, including shipping.
I'll second that, and I'll discuss it too.
Okay,
I just wanna make, we had a cutoff, and so this is an exception to the policy. And I think it's good that we discuss it now, so I compliment Dave, because we had a policy of December 15th, no more major expenses.
yeah,
And so this is an exception to our policy, so I'd say, I'm glad you brought it up, but I think we can execute on it.
okay, what's your thoughts, Justin?
I'm good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Alright, here you go. And, we can start that purchase through Lean or Joe Marie or whoever, or yourself. Take that back with you now. Do we wanna leave that copy for the, can we make a copy of this for Jennifer, so we can have something? for
I
her?
mean, I have a copy for myself,
Oh, you do, okay.
Is that gonna be okay for you to go with, for vendors?
I don't know anything about them,
Okay.
so.
You have the approval anyways to spend the money, so we'll make sure we get the right one for you.
That's why I just did up to $4,000, so you guys can work the shipping out. So Lean, I guess if you contract our carpenter to get him in there and take a look at that.
I figure it's gonna, 600 pounds, then as Justin said, you have to have thousands of files in it, so probably about 800 pounds at least.
800, 1,000 pounds in there. Cause then we stack stuff on top of it. Alright, what else do you have?
That is pretty much it. I mean, I got the wish list of the signature pad, but we can deal with that in next year's budget. It would be an invoice thing.
Okay,
Dave, we could get 5 people to stand over, where we wanna place it and see if it holds.
yeah, that's true, only 2 of me.
I wasn't going there, but. No,
All right,
I think
anything
I-
else on your agenda for tonight? You good?
I know you got a lot of budget hearings, so I'm not gonna tell you what.
Okay, good, thank you. We'll accept that.
I felt bad enough bringing up the file cabinet, but we are really pressed for space, so.
Yep, that's all right, I know you are tight down there for space, so. Good enough. All right, thank you. All right, next thing on the agenda, we have, the library budget, Mary Gerard, the director,
She just gave you the copy in the front of you, Dave.
And Karen Lassard is.
and Karen's here tonight as well, okay.
Karen's our treasurer, accountant, all
Oh,
around.
boy,
Was Karen the one who found the discrepancy last year?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
No, that was a good thing, because you brought money, you brought money back to the town, so it
Right.
was all good.
yeah,
Karen's
but she
awesome.
also made the discrepancy.
I didn't,
You know, just kidding.
well before my time.
But thank you for doing that.
She does forensic accounting.
Okay,
Anyway, we, so, it's been a great year. I think this year was a year that the size and scope of the town has caught up with the library. Although not a real struggle yet, it's been eye-opening. And as we look to the future, I think the library will need to get prepared for the community's rapidly changing needs and values, so we can continue to offer our good things.
hey, did you give us one for the library as well?
It's this
I-
funky one that was
it-
right at
Right
the
there.
front of your desk, that's
Right
it.
It's a funky
I
one.
There's
was
the
looking
seal-
for one that like this.
Right, they're not in Bema side but for one,
Oh.
this is more detailed by their requirements.
Okay,
So there's new people to town using the library, a really large increase of young mothers with small kids. Our story times are very, very large.
I see that.
I know, we also have, it's funny, we also have I'd call them relatively new people, you know, entering the library for the first time after the construction and or COVID, so we see those. I'm amazed at their reaction, they're coming from some larger towns, but, you know, our library's one of the smallest in the state, but they're flattered. I'm
Smallest
flattered.
but the best.
But, yeah, they always seem to leave with a compliment. But of course, we don't offer all that they offer back in their big cities, so. Anyway, this year you'll find that most of our budget line items are level funded or unchanged. Out of our control every year is the cost of our subscription to the downloadable content, which is hugely popular. This subscription rises every year, this year's no exception. And due to the town population increase and the increased usage of downloadable content, our library subscription will rise 30%.
Can I ask you guys one thing?
Yeah,
When you get down your payroll line, did you guys not do the 3% that we did at the town level?
we did,
But it stayed the same,
no,
your payroll line?
No, that's not showing this year and next, or
Oh.
this year and next year, right? That's just showing the lapsing funds, so that's from the town. And then the final column is just a total of lapsing and non-lapsing funds.
So we don't
So
have
there's
anything
nothing
for
on
this
here
year.
that shows you this year's budget.
Oh, boy.
I have a copy if you'd like it.
What is it that you are requesting for budget? Is it this,
Yeah,
The
we're
one
trying to
thirty-three,
compare.
222.
okay.
It's the
right,
total.
Okay. that's
Where
what
is
I'm
it?
asking. Very top, second to the top on the right, total. The 133, 222.
Go down the page.
It's total expenses.
It says town of
That's
Dunbarton
the-
lapsing, and that's what you're asking for 2025's budget.
Correct.
That's what it is.
Okay, so you're asking the same as your lapsing budget?
Looks that way.
Yes.
Dave, just so you know, I've got just a detail of all the accounts, in 2024, they asked for $113,372. So this year, they're asking for $133,222.
But that 113 wasn't our budget. The 113 also included, we were, returning some money. So I believe our
Oh,
total
yes,
budget
yes, that's
last year
right.
was 120, or this year was
Okay.
125,000 something.
Okay, so the true
122.
actual,
122,
Okay, 122,366.
366.
and then you
Oh,
return
wait, that
money,
included.
so therefore they only asked for 113,372.
Okay. Yes.
That's it.
Okay, so 122. I guess next year when you come in, that's important, just so we can follow it. We like to see what line items go up, and
Okay.
not that we can adjust a lot of your budget, just
No.
that's what we wanna look at, just so we have an idea.
Anyway, you know, our budget pretty much level funded and unchanged line items, but, the library subscription's gone up 30%, healthcare went up 17.5%. These are out of our control. But, you know, since 2016, when I started, the library's operated on just one full-time staff, and that's me, 38 hours a week. And then I have one part-time staff, Lisa, who works 10 hours a week.
And you guys have your, how is their healthcare, is it the same as the rest of the employees of the town?
Yeah, they have a
So the
health
same,
trust,
Health
Yep.
trust,
and we experience the same
yeah.
with our.
but is hers paid 100%, or is it paid the same?
No, I don't know what her, I think she, were you 80%?
Yes, for the most part,
Yeah, I don't
yes.
know, I don't know positively, but we can find out for you.
Yeah.
But she definitely contributes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have just the health, I don't have dental or eyes or anything like that, it's
Yeah,
just the
I just didn't know if it was the same as the rest of the town, like 80-20, or
Yeah,
how it was set up.
So what we're going to ask for this year is a little extra money, to hopefully find another 5 to 10 hour a week person to help out. Attendance doubling, we're stretched, sometimes I'm outside and I have a sign on the door that says, sorry, I'm outside at story time, I'll be back at 11:15. Sorry about the inconvenience, but there's not much I can do except for creative scheduling and make the most of Lisa's time.
We're a small town, you're gonna have that.
So, you know, that's the real, ask for this year, I just think
So the
it'll
whole
keep
crux
our
of this
coverage
is pretty much
adequate.
10,000 for the other person?
No.
10,856 is the increase.
Yeah, but that's not just all for the
Oh, no, no,
other
overall,
person.
but
That
just,
includes healthcare, subscriptions, all
Yeah.
those other things you
Yeah.
delineated. She did a, in narrative, probably helps
Yeah,
explain.
see, isn't it, now, that total cost for the extra staff, this would be probably 30 weeks, half year, $4,800, that's what I'm asking, extra.
Got it.
We'd just like to continue our good things with adequate coverage and can offer more.
I think your narrative helps explain what you did verbally, it was
Yeah.
well written, thank you.
Yep.
So when you download a book, we're charged for the download?
Well, yes, we have a subscription cost.
Right, so that's,
We're part of a consortium.
okay,
To get the best bang from our buck, we are part of the New Hampshire downloadable content run through the New Hampshire State Library. And yes, we have a subscription cost.
is it per book, or is it just in general?
It's per population
Okay,
and usage.
okay. Cause I see that online, I just didn't
I know-
understand that.
I know, you know what's really deceiving is that, you know, oh, it's free, it's free, it's free, it's free, it's free. Well,
It's not really free.
really free.
We're paying for it.
Uh-huh, So we do have, limits on how many, we've always had limits on how many they can download at a time. 3 at a time, and they're coming back really fast too, within 7 days. A lot of people, well, our numbers have gone up a lot since we first started in 2008.
Well, 172 to over 5,000, as you said, that's a lot,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
usage.
yeah, and it's every minute someone's coming in wanting to use.
Okay, that helps explains it, thank you.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay. Dave, I have no more questions.
I don't either, I think next year if we could kind of do a budget more like, you know, a 2025 budget actual, and then 2026, just so we can kinda read it like our other budgets here. It's a little hard to read this one where you have the non-lapsing, what's the 3,100 non-lapsing? Donations or something?
Donations, interest
Interest.
from the bank,
Yeah.
there's a couple of other,
'Cause we have
grants,
non-lapsing,
when we get
lapsing, and
grants.
the total.
yeah, we can combine the non-lapsing and just have one column for next year's budget, put in, you know, the
Yeah, and then I think-
2025 budget, the
Yeah,
2026
2025 list on the
request.
side, just so
Yep,
we can kinda follow where the money's going a
Yep.
little bit easier, that's the only thing I would.
and we can put the actuals in, but we're not done with the year yet, so that's kinda why we don't
Yeah.
put the actuals in until the end of the year, cause they wouldn't be,
Accurate.
right,
We
Yeah.
have one more payroll.
Again, these are preliminary budgets when we
Right.
first start out.
Yep.
So a lot of our departments come with the actuals that they have now, knowing it's not gonna be the
okay,
end all.
okay, perfect.
But yeah, other than that, I don't have.
I agree with Dave, the thing is, because we're trying to compare, it's a little more disjointed when we look at a different format, that's all.
And we do realize that we don't adjust your numbers up and down, but we can, you know, look at the overall and say, you know, I'm good with half of that, or not 100% of it, but it's hard for us to judge when it's just kind of a lump sum, you know? So I don't know, we are meeting with all our departments one more time for a final anyway, right?
No,
It's basically,
so
what
you
we
guys
sit down,
look
we
at
have
the
to-
bottom line number,
yeah.
but if they have things to report back to us, then obviously, like, you had presented a budget in at the end of 2023, then you came back and you
Yeah.
found surplus.
Right.
Well,
So then you
yes.
modified and
Yeah.
reduced your
Right.
request,
Right,
so those things.
and we'll, as soon as we know if we're gonna have
Yeah.
surplus or not, we'll make the adjustment for that,
Right,
but we just
right.
our final payroll is next week,
Yeah.
so it's at the
Yeah.
very end of the month, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the bank accounts come in, I think probably like the second or third week of January
For what?
for the final
Final
numbers.
interest rate, yeah.
Mary, I have a couple questions for you. Did you able to adjust the heat properly now and reset it for the entries?
Yes,
Okay,
Brian
Brian
helped out,
Arsenault, Did
okay,
it.
good.
yeah.
Alright, so you guys
So
did
we're
that
not,
taken care of.
yes, it's heat on both levels now.
And that's twice now that toilet has backed up?
Twice with real backups, and then a couple of weeks ago, it clogged, and I thought, oh no, but we were able to get the clog down, but.
Okay, maybe we'll have to look at Surratt one more time and see if they said that they had some ideas for us
they never,
on fixes, and we never heard back from them, so maybe,
I have
Is it-
signs that say light paper only, just what Surratt told me, so we've got those in place, and,
yeah, I know we had that sanitary stuff, signs you had us put up in the beginning, so. But yeah, if we can, maybe after the first of the year, get Surratt in there, take a look and give us an estimate on getting that.
It's one of the flow where the junction is.
I
yeah.
think so, the
it
pitch is
clogged-
maybe
yeah.
not quite enough.
Right.
Well, another thing I think is, there was a suggestion said that that was a water safety device toilet and not one of the high flow flush toilets like in a commercial building.
yep,
So we maybe will just change the toilet out and not have to change
To
it.
give it a little warm, going down the drain.
Yeah,
It's very, yeah, it's like whoosh, gone.
it's one of those ones with like a half gallon is not enough.
okay,
Yeah.
so look into that also, okay.
That would be a good, opinion from the plumber to see.
If not, run the sink white.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
So if they can make a suggestion to us that it's easy as switching out the toilet, we'll do that, but if the pipe needs to be adjusted, then
We do that too.
Okay,
I know that that's a change from the original design that the architect had on that building, because they thought they had enough pitch coming through the slab. And that was kind of a design change.
And the architect had more pitch.
The architect had different pitch in there to come down the floor, but you were stepping over the pipe at the foot of the floors and the basement stairs, which wasn't
Kosher.
good either, so. It was a double-sided sword. Okay, thank you, Mary. Any other issues over there?
No, not at the moment.
That's what I like to hear, Mary.
No, it's fine, it's nice and warm and,
Yeah, we had Greg do some repairs on the outside
spotless
of the
after the
building.
dance, spotless
Yeah.
after the dance. Greg did some repairs around the front. I didn't see much, but yeah, no, it's looking good.
How is the upstairs clean enough, or do we need a kind of a thorough clean, cause we haven't really done it in a while up there?
We have some money budgeted for it, but
Eric and Anastasia come Fridays around 4. I could maybe have them look at it tomorrow and,
see if we have to
yeah,
do
Cause
it.
we haven't done it such a long time, I think we could give it a decent cleaning, you know,
Yeah.
cause
Yep.
pushing the same dust around doesn't really
Yeah.
help either.
there might be food, I don't know that.
Yeah, they really only concentrate on those hallways.
Right.
They're only
And the
going into the
toilets.
meeting area when we request it, so.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Maybe
time
a
to
good
get
time.
them cleaned
I
up.
agree.
Okay,
So they come tomorrow afternoon about 4.
I'll send them an
We've
email.
used it pretty
Yeah,
heavily.
they're real great people.
And Mike, I think you said you listened to some acoustics up there?
Veterans Day, I saw, it was a moderate group of people, not a large group, but the thing is, I thought the acoustics were fine.
I did too when I was up the last time.
I think at this point, it's an old building, it's not designed for 20th century acoustics, and the thing is, I think some people who have hearing aids or hearing impaired may have some difficulties, and that's a challenge we're always gonna have in any building. And I'd say we just keep monitoring that, and they put the quilts up to help buffer some of the sounds.
Yeah, there's a couple of quilts up.
And I thought that was a good idea.
Seem to be helping out a little bit.
It's hard to tell,
You know,
but
I don't have large parties up there, you know, I know that some people have large tables, and then there's 5 or 6 conversations going on, and that's when things get a little.
Yeah.
When I have one speaker at the front, or a musician playing, and if you can't hear, I usually say, move up.
and
It's
I've seen
fine.
speakers actually get off the stage sometimes and
Yeah.
come down to get closer to the audience.
Yeah.
And
I
that
think
works
when
fine
you're
too.
gonna have 4 or 5 conversations going on at different tables, you're always gonna have that issue up there.
Yeah,
Even if you had it in this room, you'd have the same situation.
Yeah.
no one wants to
I go to
use my-
family parties and I've gotta leave to get out of the, house to hear yourself
So
think.
for cleaning, we wanna sweep, dust, mop floors?
I think so, yeah.
What about
'cause
windows?
End of year.
The windows, you know, you don't have to
Sills?
wash your windows, but the sills
How about
and
the
stuff.
stage, you know, there's all kinds of dead flies and.
For sure.
Yeah, let's do the stage too.
Okay, I just wanna be specific.
Flies, all the windowsills. Now, one thing, I talked to you quick about Greg Miller putting the blocks to hold those upper sash
He
up.
did,
He did,
He got them in?
yeah.
On the 2 that were a problem.
I put them all around.
He put
You
them all
did,
around,
nice,
and
nice
then-
thinking, Mary.
and then the people putting lights up couldn't get up there because they couldn't open up the windows, so I don't know how they got the lights up there.
They did go out the window, I
I said they must have
believe.
taken some off the blocks.
No, the blocks are only on the top sash.
Yeah,
so
it's,
The bottom sash should always be.
yeah,
on.
the bottom sash
Oh.
opened up and they jumped out onto the, yeah,
Okay,
they got
all
out.
right.
All
so
the
we're
bottom
good.
sashes operate, correct, Mary?
Hmm,
All the bottom sashes operate, correct?
I believe so.
They
And,
need to for
and
fire. so
Greg
good.
said that they all have blocks, just because it was easier, but I
Yeah,
believe.
so that's just the upper sash
For the
holding it
top,
from
to keep
troops
it.
up.
doesn't fall
Correct.
out, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
good.
believe they all open,
Good.
but I
And they're all closed up for heat.
think so.
Okay.
I'll confirm it with Greg, I'm sure he will say exactly
We
that.
had complaints twice last year, they thought it was a little cool up there, and there was about 8 inches of window sash on 2 windows both times. So. Mary and I did an investigation, thank you guys for coming in with your budget.
Thank you.
That's good, thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Find some more money like you like.
Yeah.
No guarantees
We
on
had a
that,
lot of
sorry.
interest, we had a lot of interest last year for the banks.
But that's going away, I think.
I probably, but we got.
It'll go down some, but
Okay,
not,
next
you know,
on the-
it's still better than what we were getting before, so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Enjoy your holidays.
Thank you, you guys too. Next on the agenda is the fire department, John Wiggins here,
Oh, no.
chief to go over his
Idiot.
budget. what do they call this, increase on the way out?
I've never given such a thing.
See you, Leo.
Bye.
Over there.
Alright,
Okay, dokey, they say. Try and keep everything level. Except for what we're doing with the part-time chief and that other position.
The EMS.
Yeah, so other than that, the only other really increase was the compact fee, which, you know, I don't have any say over, really.
that's fixed, right?
They now have 2 employees, 2 vehicles, they got a huge grant to upgrade our radio system from the feds, like 20 million or something. But part of that is we're gonna have to reprogram our radios, so they suggested budgeting at least $2,500 to cover the cost of our radios getting readjusted, reprogrammed, but I just figured it would be just 2,500 to pay your line.
We could use that if we have to.
That's
John,
not a fixed
that
cost.
7,600 is what the EMS is gonna end up costing us.
Yep, that's included the 30,000 for the call people right now.
It is.
Yeah, it was 46 and 30, but Lean's tweaked it a little, I see. For my numbers, so she's at, well, it's still 76, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, she just showed where it was coming from.
So 46 is for the, one full-timer.
Yep,
Well, it's not full-time, it's
yeah,
5
stipend,
days. 9
daytime
hours.
stipend,
Yes.
stipend person.
And he gets paid regular salary when he goes out, regular wage when he goes out on a call.
No,
How's that work then? I thought, in other words, he gets a stipend for being there. Was it just a full
just
stipend?
an hourly rate.
Just
being
an
there,
Yeah.
Just a,
9 hours a day,
okay,
for 5
He
days. a week.
mans the firehouse and stays there for 9 hours, and
Okay.
gets paid for 9 hours, whether he stays in the building or he goes to a call.
that's
5 days.
just it.
5 days we're hoping for.
And
Yeah,
what's the
we-
rate, John?
Bill it. $20.
I had budgeted $20 an hour, 9-hour
We're
shifts.
lower than some towns, but, you know, some people like working in other towns than they do others, so you gotta start somewhere. Some towns are low as 18, some are 26,
Well,
27.
you know, if you have less calls, you can be a little bit lower, cause
Yeah,
they're actually got more free time for themselves. They
yeah.
have to be
These
there.
guys that go around and do these pretty,
You'd think we could
pretty,
find
and they
somebody
pick-
pretty easy.
you know, they go up to Deering, sit there all day and have maybe 1 run. They go to Chichester and have 4 or 5 runs during the day, it depends how.
Kinda
If
pick
they
where you
wanna
wanna
work,
go, yeah.
Go up to Henniker hires them, Henniker's busy. So these guys pick and choose when they wanna work for the day.
So you think with that dollar amount, we'll get people?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have any other questions, you,
I think it looks straightforward.
the part's very straightforward, other than that, we've already talked about the other situation,
Right.
so.
And then forest fire, same, no one billed us this year for that fire way down to the sand pit. Towns are getting less billing other towns, cause a lot of people come are already full timers and they're getting paid, so. Like the compact, like I said, it's up 3,000, what is that? $3,058, something like that. Yeah.
They waive the registration fees for those? For the town,
What?
to register the vehicles? John?
Yeah, we don't pay for
We
it.
don't, okay.
And the thing is, John, on the ambulance fees, that goes directly into an ambulance fund?
Right.
Okay,
Not part of this.
understood. I didn't see it.
Yeah, fortunately, we haven't done a lot of transporting, so there's gonna be a lot of money in there. But hopefully with this plan, we can start generating some more income.
Right,
You know, gas, pretty close, diesel, looks like we went over a little bit, but there's wiggle room. The gas, who knows what the price of fuel's gonna do? They're down pretty good right now, but.
Yeah.
Supplies stay the same, station supplies, some of this money was taken out of a different account. We did spend office supplies, but must have get charged towards station supplies, telephone.
you gonna be okay on protection equipment, John?
Yep.
I just,
Equipment maintenance, you know, the fleet's getting older obviously and more apt to have a repair. And know what the cost of repairs are these days, so, we really should keep that there. Dues, radio repair, I put 500 in there, but some of that could be used if we have to reprogram our radio. I didn't buy any pages, I bought some portables this year. We had that bracelet, right, Lee? When we sent the,
We had, yes,
PO.
I've encumbered that, and then I just encumbered the 4 invoices you gave me from 2 weeks ago.
yeah, there's a PO, there might be 4 charges that, I told them to try to get this bill for the end of the year. But you got the PO, so.
Yes, I do, and that's
That
what I
was on there.
based it on, I encumbered it based on that.
Yeah. Fees of service, the same, protection gear. Tried to buy 2 or 3 sets of gear a year, protection gear, just because it's so expensive. I just got some. Had to buy the new chief a helmet, and my coat, then I get a new coat, I send it out and put a patch over the back. I used to say chief, now it says black. So instead of getting a new set of gear, cause my coat was in good shape, I just peeled the chief off it. You could hurt the threads plus the, so they just put a patch on it. Pulled the X's up front, I just saw it came back. Subscriptions, same, fire prevention, we didn't spend quite as much this year at the school, cause we had some supplies. Most of that all goes towards the school stuff, but our stock of, handouts are getting low, pencils and crayons and coloring book stuff we give out. And then we get a package every year from the NFPA, that's what that costs me right there. Whatever the program is. Fire hydrants, I dropped that we put 5 in there a few years ago to fix the fence. And I dropped the ball on that, and played phone tag with the guy a couple times, but just he didn't work, he worked. Justin. I didn't realize who he was at first. When he first called me. So I dropped that down, cause we didn't do it, but that's something that's gonna have to be done, really in the near future. We got the three ponds that really need it. We gotta maintain the one at the fire station, cause kids in the school there, make sure that's an old chain link fence that we prop up every year. I put fence posts in and
Is $1,000 gonna be enough for that?
straighten it up. No, I don't know, I'm sure it's
No, it was
expensive.
close. It was right around, Anthony and mother passing.
Yeah, right, so I
So
missed
we
the
kinda,
guy.
yeah, we kinda just sort of playing phone tag back.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one that,
Do you guys have an idea of the budget? No, just in case we want to
I put
increase?
5 in there last year, and then we never spent any, I'm sure it's gonna take more than that. but
Justin,
figure-
what would be a good estimate, you think? Just
Figure it
as a-
out.
Honestly, don't even remember what the quote was. I would
Yeah,
have
I
to-
don't-
We have
I don't
1,000
think I
here
can
now.
bet them to show them around the three ponds that really need it, fire station, Jacqueline Drive.
I was gonna say, I think I had priced out like doing the whole thing, cause everywhere is messed up over there, but that's such a
Jacqueline?
large project, it'd have to be
Yeah,
like,
that's a big area.
like a piece.
And
We
the
could
other-
also do it with our maintenance line
So
too.
we could put a little money in here right now, plus it up a little bit here, then.
You know, that's a liability to the town,
Right.
these
Yeah.
ponds, if someone ever get in and drowned on them.
I'm gonna put a note here to say, to increase that maybe as we go forward.
That's a significant fence in Jacqueline.
And
I
we're not-
don't remember what the quote was,
Oh,
when I looked around the whole thing,
Did you?
everything
Rough
needs,
going out there.
everything needed
Cause
to
I
be.
cut the brush there, and it's stuff going.
Why the fence out there, it's not just one section, it's all.
Yeah, it's
No, like
The
by
front's
the road,
worse.
by the road, it's
Got
been pushed by the snow,
Pushed
the
by
back,
down and-
trees have fallen on it, so like.
You know, I thought when they first did that development, that thing was put in pretty rough to start right from the get-go.
Actually,
Fence
it's a good
was like-
water source.
But,
It's
no,
rough
I know the
terrain,
water
though.
source,
Yeah,
I mean, the
right.
fencing is,
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at that fence like, I wonder, how the heck is this thing ever gonna hold up? It looked like
Yeah.
pretty punchy.
Well, I'd say we increase a little bit, but then if we need more money, take it out of maintenance fund.
Yeah.
And then Jewett
Or
Road.
just upgrade, up the maintenance.
I really have gone to Jewett Road. I
That
looked
way
at
this
that.
budget doesn't
Without
get
touching
overly
it.
inflated, yeah.
The
let's
front
do
of
that.
Jewett Road is the worst, cause
I
same
think
thing,
that-
trees are
that way
falling
this doesn't
down,
go up, have to come down and all that.
Right,
trees are
it's
growing
going up
down.
enough.
But the school one, I mean, it's up and but it really should have some attention done to it. The
Cause I think
fence
what we're gonna
posts,
do is we're gonna work on, like Mike just talked about, we'll do it out of our maintenance fund. And that way this doesn't get artificially inflated and then be brought back down, kinda roller coaster, that way we can kinda follow this budget better.
Yeah, like I said, I dropped the ball, meeting with them a couple times, stuff was going on.
Well, you're gonna have time this time, we'll send
Yeah,
you right out.
yeah, I'll go, meet with them. Bring your boots if you gotta go around and check.
I think it was almost a year ago, wasn't it? Cause there was snow on the ground. It was right in the spring, I think.
Spring it.
Spring, I think, of this year.
So anyway, they dropped that back to 1,000, cause we still cut the brush, mow the grass, weed whack, pick up trash, paint the post. This year I got all the posts painted, did the cistern in the center of town, painted the pipes. You know, those plastic sleeves, I bought some this year, put in front of the fire station.
Those look
I
nice.
dressed those up, cause those concrete posts get ratty looking and you gotta paint them. We did
Looks
the same-
very sharp with the new
Yep.
doors.
So, Stinson, we did the same thing there, cause, you know, you just gotta keep painting them and they don't look good, so we did
Speaking of that,
Stinson.
what's our sign situation?
It's in there for discussion.
Oh, boy.
I'm
Yeah.
Happy.
So, and Merrimack Intercept, that's just you never know, that's a, you know, crap shot. I think we use more than that this year, but I don't know. Some we don't, we get billed for, some we don't. All depends on who intercepts and if they transport and,
So it's, it could go any way up or
yeah,
down.
it can go anyway, you could have 5 or 6 serious calls in a row, need an interceptor, you go the whole year. And you do, this is 2, that was 99.2,
Okay.
and I think we had more than that, but money went somewhere, came from somewhere. Yeah, so, that's it,
Thank you, John, I
big
think
jump,
it's
but
straightforward, thank
we
you.
know what's going on, so.
$78,910 increase,
Yeah, and then 80.
which is 58%.
And the emergency management,
78,000 what?
78,910.
the emergency management, that's always a flat fee. I mean, the gist of that is if you need to buy food, you need to shelter people. We get enough money to go buy, feed some people. Fortunately, we haven't sheltered anybody in quite a while, at the school. But that was the intention, to have money in there, and then at the end of the year, we've always used some of it to pay for the generator, services.
Yeah.
We just got one last couple of weeks, they serviced them. And I'm sure the bill's more than that, from what I saw, but that's what we've been using some of it for anyways, at the end of the year. Cause like I said, we haven't sheltered anybody in a long period of time, which is a good thing.
Warrant articles, John?
Yep, command vehicle, I got all the figures, yet I looked on state bid for a couple different type of vehicles. And obviously, the new guy can decide what he wants, but we're looking at
Do we have a
probably,
piece of paper on that?
I did add it into the draft from 12/5, and added this date. So I put it, let's see here, new, somewhere, yep. Number 9 now, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $70,000 to purchase a new command vehicle and to authorize the withdrawal of said funds from the fire department emergency capital reserve.
so it might not be that much, I got a couple quotes on trucks, depends what brand you go on.
You have enough in there to purchase that?
Yeah.
Okay, and, when are you gonna get the exact amount so we can alter that warrant?
Waiting for one guy to give me a quote on all the radios, then another radio guy, light person. And then if it's a pickup truck, you know, get a cap put on it, but, I haven't had very good luck finding anybody that does the caps anymore. I have to check with some of these other towns, see
Isn't,
what road
Doesn't Hughes and Bo do it?
yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
thought Hughes,
Does
his
it?
brother went to,
state for them.
yeah, I think
Down
my
on,
brother went to
Route 3
Hughes,
in Bow.
and they
Okay,
paint match it and everything.
Yeah, I'll try to get a price from them then. I really wasn't sure who to go to. And the vehicles, anywhere from 48 to 52, from what I saw on the state bid, depending on what you get. They do make a state, has a police special package now, Chevy, which has extra stuff in it, wiring stuff for a police vehicle.
Yeah.
Even though it's a pickup, it's not a, not Explorer or whatever those things, Interceptor.
Yeah.
Ford makes one, Chevy makes one, for police work.
Or, yeah, if
So
you
we'll
can get
get,
those numbers together, get them to Lean, just so we know, and
Get going.
getting down the wire.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you, John, I think, we're all set, I just saw Jeff Crosby pulling, he's next on the agenda, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, John.
No problem.
Thanks, John.
You wanna keep going, what do you wanna do yours, and then watch Jeff, or you want to just let Jeff come in and do his?
Just fine.
Okay. We'll wait for him to get in there. You got somebody around the corner there? Okay. Not much in mailbox, Lean?
You have it on your snapshot. It's in the clip, right there. All that stuff.
Fire rock,
All this is in there.
you had a truck fixed up there before.
I didn't look through
Wait,
the whole
wait,
thing
yeah.
yet. Been just grabbing that we need.
Yeah. There was a guy that worked there.
You see him walk by yet, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, this guy.
Jeffrey?
Waiting for me,
Yeah.
Right on time.
Just
I was
in
told
time, buddy.
7 o'clock. I just made it.
We all have you up here on the agenda.
Nice.
Okay, for the town.
What do you wanna talk about?
Jeff Crosby just strode up, highway department. What are you, the chairman?
Yeah, yep, I'm the chairman.
We're gonna go over your budget next.
Yep.
2025.
Yep.
Okay. We all have a copy, do you have a copy, Jeff?
Yep. Yes, I do.
Okay. Wanna just go down through them as you see them, or?
You want me to?
Yep. Kinda give us your ideas on it, and,
Alright, well,
changes, and anything that you are adding the second employee about, we kinda all know
Yeah.
about that, you just kinda.
Yeah, it goes without saying some of that stuff.
Yeah,
The added costs there, first one, there's a slight increase in the telephone highway, it looks like they've been going up a little bit.
yeah, I have seen that too.
And we got like another month's bill and we're probably gonna be $1,500, so I just bumped it up to 16.
Yeah, I see a couple of other departments doing the
Yeah.
same. Yeah,
I'm not sure what that's gonna be. Highway supplies, 10,000, I had budgeted 5,000 last year, and between everything we spent, pretty close to 10, so I kept it at that. The full-time position, we had talked about this at great length last year, and where we were gonna be. Obviously, we have secured a person at this point,
mhm,
so I carry a number that I believe will be adequate to get us through the year. It
for a
went-
second person.
Yeah, for the second person, so that bumped the, administration, highway administration full-time, basically 62 to 106.
Yep,
And that big increase is due to the cost of the other person. The part-time kept right at the same number. We got a little surplus this year, but I'd like to keep it at the same, cause we still utilize part-time help. I myself am part-time, and then we have occasionally other part-time help on call. The overtime, obviously, goes without saying, have a second employee, we could have more overtime. I didn't double it, you can see how much we budgeted last year, 9, we spent 75 so far.
mhm,
So I thought, well, 15, we can make it work, you know?
Yeah.
We have to take a little out of the part-time or what. I thought that was a pretty accurate number, cause it's a bit of a guess anyway. Highway paving and construction. I bumped that up a significant amount, and basically that has several different reasons. One,
you only bumped it up 20,000.
yeah, but I mean, we had budgeted 273 last year, but we had a milder winter, so we took some of that money from the milder winter and used it in a little more projects. But to get a more realistic number, we bumped it up 20, cause all our materials and stuff
Mhm.
have gone up. And another item that I feel that we should really do is we gotta crush up some more gravel. In our gravel pit, we have accumulated quite a stockpile of asphalt that over the years from doing trenches and little jobs. And we can crush that up, mix it with the crushed gravel, and use that on our projects. And the cost of doing that, the last time we did it was $25,000. And I have got some preliminary estimates of it's gonna be closer to 40 this year. But that, it's like taking it out of one pocket and put it in the other. If we crush our own, yeah, we have the expense of crushing it, but then we don't have to buy as much.
It's
on
good
the
for
other side.
future years too.
Yeah, and it'll last several years.
Yeah.
We won't use it all in 1 year. So that's part of that increase. Plus, like, you know, everything we buy, as you all know, everybody realizes has gone up.
Yeah.
It's some amount of money. So to try to keep pace, we bumped that up. Roadside mowing, we've added a couple of roads. Last year it was basically 12.5. I bumped it up a little more, cause basically asking more tasks of the roadside mowing. So I'm very happy with the way it's coming along. It's a worthwhile thing to do, obviously, because it helps keep the larger trees from growing back and gives you sight distance on the side of the roads, yada, yada, yada. Uniforms, highway department, we budgeted 15 last year. As I see here, as of today, I guess the real cost is almost 18. But I had allowed for more uniforms for the second employee, which we would do, which includes any safety equipment and all that, so I used 38 for that.
I know that just, you and I had talked about it, but Jeff has had some of the same issues as Woody's had in his department with some stuff not coming back the following week, so
Yeah, it's problematic, I don't know.
it's kinda sporadic on and
Yeah,
off. And,
it seems like it's kinda been an ongoing thing, all the vendors seem to have the same issues, I guess it's tough to get employees there and.
It's one of them industry things, I guess, but.
Yeah, I mean, so, and Woody takes care of arranging it all for us, I don't have to get involved at all, he takes care of it all, bids it all out. Figure we get a better price, we're doing it all under one organization, and, so that's it, so I don't really get involved in the pricing, I let him take care of all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I just carried a number that I feel will be adequate.
He's on them now for the, missing materials, so.
Yeah, there's no sense in everybody bugging him, let him be the lead man, he's in charge of them, he can do it, and then we don't have a bunch of different people trying to figure it out. Highway phones, we supply our highway employee with a cell phone. I don't know if we're gonna continue to do that with a second employee or not, but I budgeted for it anyway. I just took a simple thing and doubled the number.
I know when you've gotta call them in the middle of the night,
Yeah,
we're providing them the phone, they should answer, you know?
well, yeah.
If it's
but-
their own phone,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have their own phones now, I mean, when the town initiated this, it was a little different, but now. most
well, I'm
of-
thinking to myself, it's my personal phone, you
Yeah.
could not answer. But if it's a
Yeah.
town phone, it's part of your job.
No, so that's fine, I just took, we can iron that out, right, and we'll probably stick with the same system we are using,
Yeah.
so I just doubled that, because I
It
assume
makes
that was
sense,
like.
yeah.
Gasoline, obviously, we budgeted $2,000, we don't burn much gasoline, it's basically for the hand tools. So I bumped that way down to basically 1,000. I
Okay.
figured again, 2 employees, we might be burning a little more for hand tools or whatever, it's hard to say, but I wanted to keep 1,000 in there. Diesel fuel, we budgeted 15,000 last year. We spent 12.2 right now, fuel has been pretty steady lately. Hopefully it stays that way, we don't know, but having another truck with the other employee, I bumped it up. I didn't bump it up, half, I took 20,000 added to it, and I think that would be adequate. That's why that's up. This one was a big mistake, highway maintenance and equipment, I must have made a mistake last year, and I think I meant to have $10,000 there, and I left a zero out. So we only appropriated 1,000, which is nowhere near enough, so I bumped that back up to 10. We did spend 15, but part of that was cause we had a breakdown in a transmission on a truck that was in a very expensive repair.
Mhm.
But I feel the 10,000 is comfortable, we didn't need to go that high, but I did kinda erred last year, and I don't know, like I said, that's the only explanation I got, I must have left the zero out on it, I was doing, cause we, you know, tires and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, we're gonna have to buy a set of large tires for one of the trucks this year, you know, there's always stuff like that.
Cutting edges, everything.
Yeah, patching, I kept it about the same. We did a couple big patches last year, we used a little more, but when we're doing all this overlaying pavement of the roads, we don't have anywhere near the same amount of potholes as we were having. So I just kept that even to what we had budgeted last year. Carried the dollar on those other items, which we tend to do just so we don't zero them out, so we have them, you know, colors, guardrail, all that, but we just usually take all that out of the highway construction side
Okay.
to simplify it. Road striping, obviously, that's increased like everything else, materials. Budget
How many miles of road do we generally do in a year?
about 20. It's a little over 100,000.
So we do just, under half or so, somewhere around there.
Yes, yeah, yes, exactly, that would be right mileage wise.
So every other year they're getting restriped, pretty much.
Is that contracted out, or you actually do it?
We contract it out. And
The whole town, that does, the whole, every road in the town?
the ones we do, yes, approximately
Okay.
20 miles.
Alright.
Try to get it done every year. I mean, the paint doesn't stick very good, as you can
I was
see.
thinking we had closer to 40 miles of road.
I think we have 45 that we maintain, but we don't do the subdivision roads.
Okay,
We typically stick to the main roads.
alright,
And a road that we haven't been doing for the last several years was Ray Road, which is a mile long, and that will be back in the queue next year. Cause people like to have that road done because of dump traffic,
dump trucks on the road.
the
SUVs.
park, the ATV park and all that. And the residents on that road have always made comments that
Okay,
they feel it's helpful. So anyway, that's where we're at, but that's what we do. The subdivisions, we don't paint them, it's mainly the thoroughfare roads.
Okay.
Roads or whatever. And we've had pretty good luck with that, and people do ask about it. You know, if it's not getting done soon enough, we'll get a bunch of calls, hey, you gotta paint the roads this year. So, they do look forward to it. Again, it's gone up. Winter contractors, we still don't know how that's all gonna play out, because we haven't got our new truck and new individual online. We may be able to shave a little of that off, because it could hopefully take away some of the time that the subcontractors have to spend. However, I carry the same number. Obviously, we had a milder winter last year, so we had a pretty good surplus, but that's a guess.
you
And
never
this-
know.
Yeah, and the same with the road salt, we still had a significant amount left there. Typically, when it gets to be this time of year, I fill the bin up, but we had some salt in the back of the bin that we had been collecting for several years. It gets kinda chunky and hard to deal with, so I wanted to use up as much of that as possible before we ordered new salt.
Will they deliver it in the middle of the winter for you?
Oh yeah, they deliver it within basically 24 hours.
Wow,
Yeah, they're very, very accommodating.
that's nice.
Yeah, Easton Minerals, we've dealt with them for years. We budget with them approximately 1,000 yards plus or minus. You gotta give them a quantity, and they're very good about delivering it. So it's not a problem, but we always like to have some ahead in case there's the busier the winter gets, the harder it is. But like I said, I wanted to try to clean our bin down as much as possible. Winter sand, we obviously, you can see we didn't use as much, we still got a pretty good stockpile. The year before, we screened up a little more than usual in the town pit, because the town forest committee has been under some pressure to close that pit off from the Forest Society, which has an interest in that property, and we're getting closer to finishing up, so to enable us in the forest committee to do more reclaiming, we had to screen more sand to get it out of the way. So we screened it, and we have a large stockpile there, which will last us at least one more year. So we've got some on the floor, so to speak, we still have to transport it up to the highway garage and all that. So instead of messing with anything, I just kept the number the same there. And so that leaves us at what you can see, 718,793, and last year we was 621, so
But these are all things we've discussed through the year, so I don't see.
Well, yeah, and also, we knew last year, we discussed it a little bit at the town meeting, that the new employee would make a direct cost on the budget, as long as with Lean's side of it, with the insurances and all that, because at this point, that's kind of a guess.
Any updates on your truck?
It's at the body place, they haven't started installing the body yet, but it's sitting there waiting its turn.
I think they're putting the emergencies in front of us, cause there's obviously a lot of.
They have a lot, they do a lot of trucks.
Yeah, they do.
And, one of the things they said is it had to be on site before they put it in the queue, but they had it, they knew it was coming, it wasn't a big surprise. It's still scheduled to be delivered at some point in June, not June, January. And he said once they start working on fabricating the body on it, they'll give me a call. And, you know, it's Christmas week, in the middle of the week, New Year's, so it's kind of next couple weeks are kind of tough to get things done like that.
And what month do you come in to go over the roads in the springtime for the public?
Usually we do it April-ish,
Okay,
you know, after town meeting, before mud season, sometime
Yeah.
around that point, is what we try to do.
okay, looks good, Jeff, anybody else have any questions?
How
Very
about
thorough,
warrant
thank you.
articles?
Oh, warrant article.
Oh, yeah, the warrant article. We talked about 20,000 for the capital reserve.
Yeah, I think yours was pretty.
Yeah, the highway, number 10.
Yeah, I mean, we're all under the same deal, we're trying to set a little money aside for vehicles.
So I based the number 10, Article 10 to 20,000 based on that capital, CIP.
Yep.
And I know you made a note during the meeting, 15K,
15K.
but I don't know if that's gonna change, it's where we're at. But you don't have any other special articles that you're asking for?
Nope, that's it.
Money? Okay.
Obviously, the more we put away, the less the impact is down the road. I understand you're trying to soften the blow. I mean, you're asking for quite a bit myself, and the other departments have their needs too. But I think the capital reserves and funding that is,
Yeah, some
is
of them,
key.
some we noticed were, bumped up for like
Yeah.
in the future. And like we had just gone from 10 to 15 on the police vehicle.
Yep.
On the capital reserve, they put 20, obviously, for inflation and things down the road.
Yeah,
But, so they automatically put 20 in this preliminary thing we have, but
yep,
15 is what we know works right now with what we're doing.
yeah,
On
but
their
like I said, it's
vehicles,
just, it will increase the impact down the road.
Well, no, I think we're trying to fund it, so make sure it has
Yeah,
enough
I mean,
funds.
yeah, I will.
On the year they're
My
looking
goal,
for.
my thought is, and I know we still have to be mindful of the taxes, the more the better.
Yeah.
Because it, you know, it's gonna impact the tax rate. All the vehicles, it doesn't make any difference which department you deal with, they're expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and they, like everything else, have taken some significant things. Even a simple pickup truck is,
The next
60
thing
or
on yours is gonna be a
70,000.
1 ton, I would imagine, right?
well, yeah,
That's fairly new now,
it's a 2015.
that's our newest one,
That's that 550
yeah.
is a 2015.
We don't have any newer 550s, right?
No, that's the only one we have.
Well, it's getting up there already.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's
That's
got
crazy.
basically 100,000 miles on it, that's the one we had the transmission issue on. Is it worn out? No, but we gotta start thinking in terms of to replace that.
Day is coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's 8 years old.
We have that one oiled too, Jeff?
Yes.
You're doing all your trucks now?
We haven't done the two large ones, we just kinda spray some oily stuff on it ourselves, but in between things, but we don't send it out to have it oiled.
No, are we gonna implement that at all ever?
Maybe sometime, but it's a catch-22, you know, you oil them, then we wash the salt and the sand off them. Takes that too, so, but it's a worthwhile thing, I'm not saying it isn't.
Yeah.
But, that type of duty.
It's not what you can see, it's what you can't see.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
what the oiling is about. 'Cause
Yeah.
the oiling is meant to get on the inside of the frame.
Yeah,
What you wash off is not the problem.
yeah, so it's, you know,
I think oil, for a truck, it's gonna be like maybe $500-600, think so.
I would think a big truck like that might be, cause,
Big what?
it's 250 for a.
Well, the last one we paid $242,000 is the most recent one we bought.
No,
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 it's about the oil.
Oh, I don't know.
it's gotta be a $500 or $600 bill.
At least,
I
at
don't
least,
know.
yeah.
Pickup truck went from 150 to about 250 now,
Oh.
200, 250. They're all using that special oil New Hampshire undercoat now.
Yeah.
He's got a good business going.
You had a question for us?
Is there any other option other than oiling?
That New Hampshire undercoat product,
Is oil?
it's an oil
It's an undercoat.
byproduct undercoating that sticks with gel like right to
On
the.
brand new vehicles, they'll use a spray wax with oil as a supplement. If it's a used vehicle more than a year old, they use only oil.
Is there any other option?
Not really.
Not to work,
Doesn't seem like a good idea to be oiling vehicles.
Salt will leak through anything anyways.
we do all of our vehicles.
Well, the guys that work on them aren't a big fan of it, I can tell you that. But
No, but when they take the nuts off, they like it, as they come on.
we don't keep them long enough.
Thank you, Jeff, it's very thorough.
Anyway, that's where we're at. Sorry about the increase, but it's inevitable.
These are all increased, we've talked about for over a year now, so. it's not-
The other thing, not to labor on it anymore, but where the capital reserve fund is gonna be important as we're talking about replacing that 550.
Yeah,
Could be another issue that comes along, depends how things play out with the road agent position. Right now, I bring a pickup truck with me,
yeah,
it's part of what I bring. If the town does evolve and change the way they allocate that position, they will need to buy a pickup truck for it.
no, that 550 will be the pickup.
Well, okay, well, the only thing is,
Doesn't fit.
that's the everyday truck for the town workers, so
Yeah.
if they've got that, you can't, so there's a lot of little facets to it, you know? So just keep in mind, don't cheapen up on your capital reserves,
Thank you.
alright? You all set with me?
Yep.
Thank you, Jeff, thanks for
All right.
coming in.
Have a good afternoon.
Okay, transfer station's up next. Woody Bound here for the transfer station 2025 budget is next on the agenda. Okay, Woody, we all have a copy of your agenda, I think.
Budget, yeah.
I might have put it in here. Oh, look at that, I okayed you already. Wrote it, I thought it was Jeff's. Alright, like Jeff, if you could start up at the top and kinda go down through here.
Yep, so the first one is the full-time employee with the 3%. Second line is the part-timers with the 3%.
Okay,
I will tell you, we didn't expend as much, and we're gonna expend some more than we budgeted last year, but you need to be aware there's potential help turnover again.
okay,
And I don't think we're gonna get people at the money we're paying. That's something I'm foreseeing in the very near future.
okay,
The overtime, I put in that at the 3% as well.
Yep.
Equipment rental is just the line holder. The next one, the training stayed the same. Subcontractor services, should Pete not be able to haul for us, that is nowhere near enough money. I'm just gonna give you that a clue right up front. You're looking at, the last quote I got was $600 a haul plus, because of the wait times, I've waited 5 hours to dump. You're looking at I think they quoted me $165 an hour on top of the $600 per haul. So I'm hoping that we can work it out where Pete hauls again for me, but if not, and I'm hoping that we don't have the wait times, and, cause you could put 10 grand in and it could not be enough, know what I'm saying? So, I just ran with that number and hoping that we're gonna have enough to do it, you know? The other, next one down is a supply line. That number that's in there, the actual spent is wrong. I have a lot more bills come that should be popping in. Banding is the big one I'm gonna have to buy this time.
yeah,
And the last quote I got it was for a pallet is over $2,000 for the banding. That's the steel that we use to strap our bales together.
when are you gonna be doing that purchase?
Very soon, cause I am on I think I have one or two
So you're
rolls
doing it
left.
this year or next?
No, we're all done for this year,
Okay,
all
that's
done
what I
credit
thought.
card purchases, so.
That's what I thought, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, I checked stock and we're pretty close on it now. Maybe it'll buy us, 2 rolls will buy us probably 2-3 months.
Okay.
So I figure put into new budget year. The next one is as far as I'm concerned, is a big increase. Maintenance is up to 22,000. I have some serious projects coming. The Mac has got, the new radiator showed up for the Mac today. There's another section of parts that should be here next week, so another $1,500 worth of parts. That's gonna be a pretty timely project to do, put the new radiator in for the mechanic. The backhoe, the parts should be coming for that, they're gonna be putting pins and bushings in it. I have 2 dumpsters that are in need of welding. Ballpark, I tried to get them to get me a written quote, but the welders have been, they're fairly busy. He gave me a ballpark, he said, you're looking probably $3,000 to $4,000 worth of welding. They gotta put some patches in them, but the patches are 24 feet long, and they're 12 by 12 patches, the steel's gonna be the big part, he said. And then whatever else breaks. You know, my maintenance line covers the skid steer, the backhoe, the pickup, the Mac, 4 balers, a compactor, and I think there's 9 dumpsters that fall under that 22,000, that's not a lot of money, if you look at it in the bigger picture.
Your budget last year did good last year, as far as being on spot on, but with the amount of money you asked for.
Yeah, we're actually, when the bills come in at the 100%, we'll be over our,
Okay, so
Over
I
that
think
maintenance
22
line.
sounds good.
department equipment, that's where I buy any tools. We're looking at a pressure washer this year, and a few other tools, so I left it the same. Once again, there should be some more bills coming in on that. I think we're gonna be fine, I did $16.50 last year on the phone, looks like we're gonna be okay with that. You know, even if there is a little increase, we left that there. Uniforms, I left the same amount in there, that line also does, that's where our boots come out of, that same line. And if we have an employee turnover again, we're not gonna have, which is looking like it's a possibility, we're not gonna have the expensive, cause they don't get uniforms right off the bat, you know, so we don't play that game. The mobile phone, I think will be okay, if not, will be a little over, I left the 500 in there. Fuel cost, I left those the same, I think there's gonna be 200 and something gallons of fuel that haven't been paid for yet. So I'm thinking it's gonna be pretty close. I've been buying my fuel at the state anytime I can. I'm saving, I think gasoline, I'm saving 70 cents a gallon, and diesel's close to $1, depending on the month.
Over here?
Over here, over buying it here. I can almost fuel up twice at the state from what I can fuel up here. Not quite, it's pretty more expensive here than it is at the state, but I'm in the city, you know, I go to Pennacook, I get off the exit, I get fuel, I get 70 gallons of fuel, and if I can save $1 a gallon, that's $70, that puts towards the next tank full, so it works out.
And then when you say the state, what does the state give you a special spot to fuel up on, or?
I can fuel at any state distribution in the state of New Hampshire. I have most
They all get
departments,
assigned a key for their department.
we have a key fob, and then I'm the only one that can fuel, cause I have, in my department, because I have a key card, I have a card that's identified to me, so the computer knows when I punch into that, who's getting fuel.
Well, that's interesting, that's the first time I ever knew we fueled somewhere else.
No,
Yeah, it was set up back when Brian Pike was selectman, cause he's in charge of fuel distribution. And their rates, at one point, their rates were higher than the town,
I remember
but
that.
now their rates are considerably lower than the town.
Okay.
I document it every month, so I left the fuel cost the same. Fees and services, that's just a line holder. Ash lab and testing, because we're not burning, that's a line holder.
Is that working out well where you transport? over?
Yes.
It's working out well.
Yeah,
good.
it's very, they are super nice people to deal with. You know, he lets me know that hey, we changed to our new hours, we're gonna be closed this day, they're super easy to deal with.
Great.
You know,
Glad to
just
hear
go
it.
in and dump.
You reassured me that we're not gonna lose our ability to burn.
No, you never lose your ability to burn. Your pit might have the ability not to burn, cause it's crumbling apart, but You don't lose your ability to burn.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure of that.
Nope. So MSW, this is a big one. It's going up. It's going up $5 a ton. I'm estimating that, looking at what we have delivered this year and what potentially for the next, till the end of 2024, looks like we're gonna be in the 811 tons. I dropped it down from what I budgeted last year. I'm budgeting an additional, it'll be 830 tons.
Yep.
And the reason I did that is you don't know how things are gonna play out. If you're, if you start seeing influx of people moving again, my trash numbers go up again. One thing about that, you're under a contract. You have to pay that bill regardless. If I don't budget enough money, the town is still liable for that bill. You have to pay that bill. So that's why I like to put a fairly safe budget, buffer in there. It'd be like, what's that, 19 tons? That's like 2 loads. For me to have 2.5 loads, depending how hard they pack it. For us to do that could be cost, to go over that. I don't think we will.
Have to get that backhoe working.
Yeah. So that rate is, that number is figured at 830 tons at $95 a ton. Now, should people recycle a little more, that number goes down, and obviously you save a little bit on that side. C&D. C&D is going up $20 a ton this year. It has gone from 130 a ton to 150 a ton. Doing my numbers, I have one more load that will go this year. Looks like we're gonna be about 125 tons of demo for the year. I budgeted an extra load, just so we have that buffer, cause you're under a contract, at 135 tons. Instead of, last year I did 150, and obviously we're not close to that, so I felt comfortable dropping it. So that's up $20 a ton. This year we'll be going out to bid for demo again. I don't know what preliminary numbers are looking like. It could be, you could be less money, but a further haul. So I don't know what we're looking at. I haven't heard anything scuttlebutt yet on it.
Yeah.
But that is the number right now, it's 150, starting January 1.
Okay. Hazardous waste.
The hazardous waste collection, so far we've expended 11,000, I have budgeted 16, so that's a pretty big difference. This year, we were lucky on hazardous waste day, our bill wasn't as expensive as it was in the past, it's been in the $5,000 to $6,000 range. Potentially could be that again next year. However, some of these other things that are in that line are your tires. Tires that we pay to get rid of, or the town gets rid of, tires, propane tanks, anything, let's say, light bulbs, any hazardous waste material, electronics, all that is going up. I can't get nailed to a number, they're not really saying, but there is an increase coming. Glass has gone from, it's going up, depending on, once again, where I haul it to. There is a new vendor coming to Hooksett, a little shorter haul than to London, but his price, it's going from a range of $10 to $15 a ton increase, which is still gonna be about $35 a ton less than going in the trash.
Yeah.
They don't want it at the burn plant. I'm just gonna tell you, I mean, they get it, but they don't want you hauling a whole load of glass up there and dumping it, they won't take it. So, and potentially, they're saying that a couple of these sites are gonna start shutting down, that are taking glass, so I don't know what the future's gonna be. But this company, there's a new company coming into Hooksett that he's in the 60 tonner bracket, $60 a ton for the material. So I don't know. So I'm gonna leave that, I left that the same to try and cover those increases that are unknown. And we always seem to get increase in the tires, the cost for tires, electronics, all that. It's all going up. Fortunately, that's,
Just, hazardous waste day, there were so many activities going on in town that day, that And I think a lot of people just didn't
It was a
prioritize
beautiful
it.
day too, I
Yeah.
think, too.
And so I think keeping it the same is a smart move.
Cause like I said, it's based on, I mean, I can give you the format, what I got, how it's based on cars, it's based on, volume. And then we take some material from them, ship it, cause I can process it and ship it cheaper than having the vendor take it, who charges us double or triple to do it. And then I bill the town of Bow, the town of Bow credits it back to us.
Good.
Plus there's material that they give us that offsets that cost as well.
I think you're smart to keep it the same.
It is, I mean, I hate to, hard to increase like that, but I got no choice.
No, I don't see
So
the
this stuff
increase.
is,
All the stuff you have here is just normal increase, I don't see anything to change.
the maintenance, once we're past this, we should be able to drop that back down, but, unfortunately, the Mac's getting old. It's, excuse me,
The warrant articles, you have,
You need a water, we have some in the other room.
no, I am on medication. The Mac's a 2002. It is what it is, it's starting to show a few little things, but there's no sense, there's no rust on it, there's no rot on it. Very minimal issues with it,
No, you've kept up on the maintenance well, and I think that's done the town well, I think.
so
Another 20 years out of it, we'll get you another one.
I won't be here in 20 years.
no, these are warrant number
Looks
six.
good to me, I don't see anything else, you guys?
Warrant number 6.
Warrant number 6, we'll go on. Warrant number 6. We put a note on here, we had $50,000 in there. And that's because in your capital reserve, it includes replacing that Mac at the end of that capital reserve fund. And it's something we've talked about a long time, whether we're gonna replace that for the town or just go to outside vendor hauling and not have to worry about somebody with a CDL license, cause they're getting so hard to get. So we talked about reducing that. I put a note down to 25 instead of the 50 on there to make sure that you could do your, I do know when you need a skid steer coming up.
Is that something we're looking at for this year?
The skid steer, I think it was 2026 on your replacement schedule.
Cause it's been pushed out 3 times now.
It's whatever, we looked at the money they have in the fund and this amount of money.
Thought it was 2025 that was slated again, cause it got pushed out twice or 3 times already.
Yeah, I don't remember, we looked at whatever it
Grab the
was.
chart, but it's on the chart, I can go get it.
Cause I know the skid steer does show a lot of wear down there.
It's,
What do you got for hours on that now?
right now we're running like 47, 48 hundred hours.
What's
5,000, you start having some troubles with them,
okay.
is what they're telling me. They go longer than that, maintain it, but we're having electrical issues, we've had electric issues with it. A new machine, because I thought we was doing it this year, was my understanding.
You go buy tires again for this one.
I just bought tires, cause the other ones are bulbing the
Right,
cucumber.
so
But
safety.
we could keep the tires too if we.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But a new machine, without putting out an RFP or anything like that, the numbers you're looking at are about 80 grand. That's not the
Does the
town
state,
number.
does the state buy them at all?
I'm sure they do.
Forgive you, we use the state contract.
Unfortunately for us, we have to have a machine that fits our building.
True, very
We
true.
can't, some of the machines that I've been looking at they're perfect, they're nice machine. But I can't get in the building and turn with it. I can get it in, but I can't turn, there's no room. So we have
Need
to
a smaller machine.
We have to fight a small machine, but they're telling me, and some are coming in at less, but you're looking at, a fair number, you're looking about 80 grand. Just off the top of your head.
Yeah.
And that machine, it's not that we're looking for creature comforts, it will have to have AC. We sweep with it, and anybody wants to sit in that cab when it's 50 out
We
or
can
60 out,
forego the stereo, though, right?
no stereo.
That's peanuts compared to what everything else is.
Yeah, 2025.
I thought it was 26th, huh? It looks over here.
I thought it was 2025 too, that's how, in the back of my mind I had it.
Yeah, cause I know it's been pushed out a couple times. Which is fine, it's still going, it's
So
not
it
gonna
doesn't,
break down tomorrow.
it shows 70 in here, what's in that fund?
In the fund,
I think I looked at what was in the fund and combined the two.
let's see.
You thinking of adding this?
Transportation. Currently, there's 52,000 in there,
Oh, no, it is 2026, I'm sorry, I was looking at the police department lane.
yeah.
It is 2026, $75,000 to replace skid steer.
Yeah, and he's got 52 in it now, and you're at,
And that's why I was adding the 25, so you'd be funded. So,
It's just so
after
you
this
know,
warrant article, you'd
in
be funded.
2026, that's not gonna be enough money.
right,
Well, yeah, but we're gonna have a whole nother budget, 2026 to go by, to add to it, you know?
Right. Yeah, cause I know when you and I talked, we were talking this year to change it out. Which is fine, you know, I change, that's fine.
Yeah, if we can get one more year out of, that's what's on this capital improvement program that Donna did up. The one that I was looking at is to replace the off-road, the roller truck, and that was 400,000.
Yeah, and that's not even enough, not
And
now.
then replace the backhoe, which is 2027 at
Probably
50,000.
600.
That would get us probably close to that. But when it gets to that point, what you have to look at is you have to look at trucking costs. And then you have to look at what the truck costs, what your life expectancy is, and then divide that out, just like we did the first time, and that's how they came up with that. If you look at it right now, like, I know a lot of towns right now, they're paying in the hundreds, in $100 grand plus, just for trucking.
The problem we're having is finding drivers, as you
Yeah,
know, to
yeah.
fill that. And, get that, and keep it all improved, and fighting that battle in the
Yeah.
future might not be something we're gonna fight, but we still have a truck for a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah,
years to use,
yeah,
so.
yeah, I don't foresee it.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things we're gonna have to work towards as we get closer, and I might not be on the board, a lot of us might not be on the board at the
I
time.
won't be, yeah. I won't be as it gets closer.
But it is something the town has to think
Oh, yeah,
about, because
absolutely.
you got the truck costs, then the maintenance of the truck, and then finding the driver to fill it
Yep.
with a CDL license. It may be something we just wash our hands for it and have it trucked.
And then,
And put
you
it out
don't know
for
what the
bid,
future's
put it out for
gonna
bid
bring.
every year, or every 3 years, or whatever it
Yep.
comes out to.
Yep.
So we'll look at that closer, but the rest of the equipment do need to be funded, so that's why I just had that warrant article drop to that, that's all.
It was straightforward, thank you.
Yeah.
And then, like I
budget looks
said,
good.
at some point, you know, I talked to you before, Dave, that you're gonna, you know, same thing Jeff alluded to, you're gonna have to do something with Calp Reserve, because I have some equipment that is very old, it means pushing in the 30s,
I
some
mean,
of
the
it's,
dumpsters and all that
the
stuff.
trash compactor is a 2002.
Yeah.
We've already gone beyond what they recommend likewise for. Granted, it's not the volume, I mean, we maintain it, we repair it, but at some point, it's gonna be to that point where you're not gonna.
Yeah,
And
I
that-
figure your budget will be 25 to 30 every year in that, as far as capital reserve.
You know, and then your balers, you know, one baler is an 80, you got a 90, you got a couple 2000s, so, you know, they're showing 30, 40 years of age, so
Yeah.
it's just
You-
the
you
stuff.
only have one capital reserve and it's for everything, vehicles
Yeah.
and equipment.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying at some point, you're gonna have to.
Plus it up,
Exactly,
you see, I read you out of the later.
just,
How many
it is
cents?
what it is.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here
Yes, sir.
back in later on after we've done
Yes,
this
sir.
meeting, okay. Alright, moving on to this, mailbox items now.
Now, what's not in the mailbox,
Why don't I get to those things right now before the mailbox? I get a couple of things for cleanup that we had a situation arise where we did the step scale, actually it has to do with Woody anyway. We did a step scale increase, for two of his employees. One got transferred back to an attendant and one, was the transfer station assistant without CDL. Apparently, we were looking at a 2023 section of the chart for the dollar price for it, so.
So our numbers were a little bit off.
That's right, so that being said, I'm gonna introduce the correct numbers. Hope has already corrected it, and we're retro paying back the corrected amount. And one thing we were looking to do is, one of the employees, we wanted to keep him just with like a 5 or 10 cent raise, cause we were taking him from the assistant with no CDL, and we had agreed to bring him to a step level 3, well, that actually gave him a 50 cent deduct. So we had to bring him to a step level 4 to do that increase you were talking about, Mike, which was, 5 or 10 cents.
Right.
So, make the motion, I don't have the names here, John
John LaPlante.
LaPlante, to move him to step level 4 and transfer station part-time attendant at the rate of $19.80. Okay? And then the other one was Greg Rule,
Yeah, RULA.
to make him the transfer station assistant, no CDL, at $19.29, which would give him like a 90 cent raise, just under $1.
And that one is correct.
Yeah, and that's step level 1.
I second that.
Okay, motion's been made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
And again, this is a correction of what we did with our wording last week and get that dollar amount correct.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, the next thing that's not on the agenda, we have a meeting scheduled for January 2nd. Because we have a public notice due, we have to have the proper amount of days to it, so the public notice is on the 6th of February. So looking at our calendar going back, meeting every other week, we'd end up meeting 2 weeks. So I propose to not meet on the 2nd, cause we're meeting on the 9th anyway. We still meet twice in January, the 9th and the 23rd, but we would not meet on the 2nd, and Justin is gonna be out of town that weekend.
I have no problems with it.
You guys all good with that?
I get consensus from me.
Okay, consensus to the board. Okay,
Leo, you got that?
Yeah, I'm gonna want, actually,
I'll send you with the calendar.
yeah, exactly.
before I
Thank you.
forget, Woody, let me give you this is
I had
Greg's,
that in mind tonight.
his check payment. It doesn't have his check in here, but it has his notice of his payment. He didn't receive this by email, we did have another person in the department do that. If we miss this from now on, just ask for Hope, cause Hope does that, but we did put it together if you wanna give it to Greg.
In here also is for him to confirm his email that we have in the system.
I think he just missed his pay, so we made a copy for
He
you to
got
give to
he
him.
got the money, he just didn't get the
You
stuff.
didn't get a stub, yeah.
I didn't get my stuff either.
You didn't get your stuff?
No, I think
Mine usually emails me.
it's a third one.
It's the third one, so there's something definitely
Something
wrong
going
with the
on.
system.
When I talked to Joe Marie, she said that she didn't get hers and that they were gonna do something on Monday
Right,
with it.
I'll have, Hope send out an email blast to everyone to take notice that they may not have received their stuff.
Do I have
Is
a
it-
paper stub in here?
No, you signed up for, electronic.
So you didn't get one either?
No, but I did notice the funds transferred, I didn't know where they
Funds,
came from.
right.
Yeah, I was
Now
wondering the
do.
same thing.
I thought it was from my
So
company.
it might be the bank, could be.
They come so
Granite State,
infrequently.
I don't know why this has never happened before.
So do
But
a
we're
follow-up
looking-
action on that?
We've got to call in to BMSI already.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't see, let me see, mailbox. I'll just go through them. I don't have the cover sheet for the mailbox, so
Right,
anyway.
you wanna use mine?
I have one right here, if you want.
Okay,
Yep. Should've been attached to
yeah,
this.
we're gonna
I was gonna
attach
say,
it.
I don't have a copy of it either.
Oh.
It's alright, doesn't matter. I'll just
Okay.
listen.
We have an email, as we already talked about tonight, from the director of the library there, Mary, downstairs, downstairs got clogged on the, toilet, so we're gonna address that with Surratt.
Yep.
We have an email from the building inspector in reference to the solars on 80 Robert Rogers Road. They're gonna try and install some solar panels on the roof and bypass the ground level one. That's a work in progress that they're working on with him. Make sure it's done properly. We have an email from Sousa Signs, because because of the building size, they have to redesign the sign, I believe.
Yeah, so, without much notice, he called me this week saying that the revised sign is gonna have to eliminate the curve at the top to fit underneath the vent. And what I did also notice was the width of it is also smaller. So I don't know how the board wants me to proceed. So that's the revised one, see the square, it's not,
Yeah. So the other one was 152, the other one was 168.
yep,
Well, that's not that
It's
much.
10 inches tall. The other one was about 20,
so that's the original,
That's,
and this is the revised,
looks good with the curve.
yeah, I think so.
yeah, I really like the curve myself too, but that vent is a vent you use all the time, right, John?
Yeah, it's the only thing we got to remove exhaust fumes and stuff from the station. But he called me this week
He did, me too.
and said that they were still gonna install it in front of the vent.
Well, he'd have to put some extenders to
Right,
keep it away
That's
from
what
the,
he wanted to do.
well, that's what
how
I
he
thought
worked
he
with
was,
me the other day.
well, he didn't, because he just sent me a new one,
Well, yeah, I
completely
saw, I
different.
got the email too, but to me, that would be better, even though it's smaller, because those vents, the louvers open out when they come on. And they didn't have a freaking clue how far they came up. Right, he's trying to say, well, how far they come up? Send a guy out, measure it, you know, when they open up, cause they think they still could stick the sign in front of the louvers.
And just like.
And be away from the building.
Yeah, have an
Support it away from the
extension
building?
out or something.
But this picture right here, I don't think shows it that way.
No, it doesn't, it's 10 inches shorter this way, and then the top is cut off. It's
Yeah,
completely
cause it
square.
shows 29.5 or 29 inches. 29 inches to the, I don't know what that goes to, 22 3/4 is like not to the top, bottom of the sign. I don't know where he
So
runs
it's
it,
basically, it's made a little bit smaller, but he's taken this,
cause it's like 30 inches, I think, under the louver.
and even the color of the town of Dunbarton doesn't look good, like, see, when you see it here, you can see this bright, and Dunbarton's almost blacked out. See here, this is bright,
White.
and this is a different color. I know this is black and white, but he's showing like the town of Dunbarton and departments. Real bright here with the police and fire in a different color. You come here, town of Dunbarton looks
It's
almost
completely
blacked out.
different, it looks completely different.
You should almost match the, departments.
I would say that if he can make his, even the town of Dunbarton font match this one, cause it looks a lot nicer.
Do you want me to check with the other company we got a second quote on, or?
No,
See
this guy was cheaper still, so.
Yeah, this is smaller, so I'm assuming that the price
he's
will come
gonna
down.
reduce it short. But do you see what I mean here with the font here, Lean?
Yep, I do.
And then he even had this in here, and now he's taking it all out, it looks very,
I just didn't
Why?
know if you felt it was gonna be too small, because now it's not as wide.
and the width, we did not, you can let him know, we did not need to reduce the width.
Yeah,
But you know, he's probably, once you get rid of this arch, you probably have a lot of extra that you don't need there, is what he's thinking. Cause your font can't be as big, cause it's not as tall, so that might be why he came in, so it looks uniform. So I'm fine with the width, but I think the fonts and the colors,
I'm wrong.
and he does say image coloring, but you can just look back here and see the images, which is fine. The police and fire badges. I think just
thought
get
you
him,
had a color one that we saw too. I thought you had a, I thought you printed
It-
that color
it
one
might
when we
be-
originally
yeah.
had it.
There's the email has a color on it,
Yeah,
you wanna see, I think we should see the color.
do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, just send it electronically.
send the
Yeah,
electronically, but you
after
can,
he fixes that, he can send it to us.
yeah, he could fix the fonts and the color on the,
I got the email right here.
I'll meet you halfway.
but I'd like to get it going.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would've been done now, it seems like he dropped the
Yeah,
ball.
it's still kinda,
The town of Dunbar,
you can't see it.
No,
It's grayed out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's too gray.
it's
So
not-
I think it should be on this white.
before, he put the town of Dunbarton and departments in white, and he put fire and police in like a gray. But the town of Dunbarton can't see
the
it at all.
colors, yeah.
Thank you, John, that was good.
So you're gonna just have him change it to white?
You could change that to white and put fire in red and police in blue.
Conflict with the other thing, with the envelope. You know,
Lean, we'll let you take care
sure
of
they
that,
can
okay?
do it.
Get the Dunbarton font corrected and the color.
And just confirm with them, Lean, it's going under the vent, it's not
Yes,
gonna be
that's the
raised.
way he's got it drawn.
The
That's why
picture and the
it's so-
size shows it
smaller.
under there, so I think we're good.
But I just talked to him this week, said he couldn't do it without setting it away from the building. So that's why I was surprised when I saw this.
Well-
Yeah, but he reduced it to 10 inches or
Yeah, it's
something.
a smaller sign. I just wanna make sure that you know it's smaller and it's gonna look
I
dwarfed on a
realize it's
big
small,
building.
but he still said he was gonna set it up. But this doesn't appear like it is.
Okay,
it
so
looks
I'll
like
Just
confirm
confirm
it.
that.
Yeah, just confirm it's not gonna be in front of the vent.
Okay,
He told me it was gonna. That was this week. I told him to send the guy out.
Okay,
Take some more measurements.
that's what he hasn't done, is he hasn't sent somebody out.
we had a quote from GMC not to exceed $4,000 on the exterior trim. And what's he billing us for 4,000?
Well, at the point
No.
that, he was working at the library and repairing all those blocks, there was still a lot of work that he wasn't able to get to because of the temperatures were changing. At that time, we had money in the building maintenance. Now we're down to like $1,600, so we don't have the full amount, and I asked if he had any figure of what it would be not to exceed to finish the work, because he's doing a really good job and replacing a lot of rot over there. But at this point, if we go back to our regular budget for building maintenance, then we have the money in the building
But
maintenance.
next year, January 1st.
Correct.
So, how much did it cost us to do what he did, is what I'm trying
It's
to.
attached in a detail, the report, is that the one I gave you?
But I see his bill's 4,000,
That's for the additional work that's not done yet. Can you look at the report right there? Is it on page 3? You can see a lot of the GMC. We paid him like $2,000 and another $1,800 to date, I think. I didn't highlight
Oh,
it.
so it takes additional 4,000 to get
Yeah,
complete, that's what you're
I
saying.
asked him, can you give us some kind of a ballpark, cause I thought we had some money left, and it's a project he's currently working on, but at this point, we don't have the much left in
But
that.
it's gonna require an additional 4,000.
I mean, it may be less, but I wanted a number so that I can encumber it, but at this point, there isn't any money
Understood.
left.
And you really can't do it at this time of weather,
Correct, yeah.
climate wise.
so we don't even have enough.
So I'm not, I wanted to bring it to your attention. It was something that he said he could finish, he wants to finish the work. He didn't, and I asked him to give me a ballpark of what it would cost to finish the work, with the understanding that we might have some money left over from this year. But at that point, we don't have money left over, cause we've made other repairs in other areas.
So it's gonna just defer the work to spring and then.
Yeah,
we'll
and
get-
then work it out
So
of
we'll
the
approve-
2025
We'll approve it in
budget.
spring. For the next
But
budget.
you don't know how much it's cost us so far from,
Let me look at it.
if you look at, I can see it
You
in
don't
there.
see,
I'm not sure what I'm looking for, I guess. It's not sticking out at me. Okay, while she's doing that, I'm gonna review, we had a proposal come through, and I just had an energy committee meeting, this week. Dana Lavoy took over being chair on that. John and Bob had done co-chairs earlier. I want to thank John and Bob for all their work on the energy committee over the years. John is still gonna do the, secretary work and do the meeting minutes. But Dana Lavoy is, he sold his business and is semi-retired, I guess, so he's gonna put a bigger step forward here. But we have a, proposal on the Dunbarton Power. And what they proposed was they gave us two proposals, one 19-month term with a .099 kilowatt, or an 8-month term with a .088. Now, Unitil just came out with their rates last week, and they're .086, which is slightly lower than this 8-month offer for 6 months from February to July. And Eversource is slightly higher at .089. Now, I told Lean earlier today, it was not, they're recommending us to do a short 7 or 8 month contract and then go into something in the fall. It was never my intention to do shorter in contracts for the town of Dunbarton, like Eversource and Unitil do it every 6 months. I was looking at a 30 to 36 months, so you could kinda set it and forget it for your household, and know you had a good rate. So to put this rate in there, where for the Eversource customers, it's not as low, and for the Unitil, it's all within a penny, it's kind of useless to me. So, I told Lean, I don't think we should act upon this at all. Dana is off for the next week and a half, so when he gets back, I'll revisit this with him, but I'm thinking it's not anything we should go
I
forward
fully
with right now.
support you, that logic, your
Yeah.
logic is sound. I think it's,
Just,
the thing is, we wanted a contract pushing them almost 2 to 3 years.
yeah, 2 to 3 years, and that way there you can kinda set it and forget it at a reasonable rate. One good thing is the rates are so low that they just set. Now, I wanna tell you that I believe these Eversource rates that were just proposed are somewhat artificial. At the same time, they reduced their rate.
Right, they just
They
did,
also got approval for their 18% increase. So even though they reduced their rate by 6%, it's really a 12% increase. Cause their delivery side went up. So that being said, I told Lean, let's just hold off, I don't think it's the benefit of the town to do anything at this point. Just stick with the standard electrical company, unless they give us these rates for a 3-year term.
I would start at least 2 years, but if it's not a minimum 2 years, I don't even wanna consider it.
Right. Justin, you the same?
Yeah, same with-
Okay. So the consensus from the board is the same, if you wanna just put an email back,
To her,
to,
okay,
no, not to her, just to Dana.
just to Dana, okay.
And then when
'cause
he gets back, we'll address her.
Okay. I noticed you hadn't been CC'd on that, and I thought because he was out of town, I needed someone else on that committee to look at it, and,
Good thinking, did you see how much we paid him so far for the
yeah,
work?
$2,200 so far,
So not much.
no.
And you think it's gonna be 400 to do the little bit of work on top? 4,000.
Well, there's still more, he is finding, it's the corners on the,
Yeah,
that he's replacing rot, and,
but they looked better the higher you went to me, but.
Yeah.
So we'll see, so maybe it won't be nearly as much.
Right, I think we just, as adjustments that we approved in the spring.
He did a lot of work for 2,200.
he did, yeah.
The thing is, I would say, we want him to continue the work, and we'll just, when we get the budget approved, we'll get,
We'll get the estimate at the
and
time,
there's no urgency because it's winter.
right,
We usually give them a buffer, say, anything up to 30,000, if
Right.
we understand there's unforeseen.
okay, so no action on this.
But I would, maybe a phone call to him to let him know that we still want him to finish the work,
Got it, okay.
agreed?
Okay, the next thing we have a notice of here is from Granite State Solar. Dana sent out a nice letter, email from the town to follow up with Lean's emails and the ones we've been pushing for their improvements. We had 2 panels that were underperforming. One of those panels has been fixed. Here are the 2 panel locations. And in her letter, she stated that they thought the one that was totally not working was from the settling. Well, it's in the wrong bank of panels, so, that statement is not correct. They did say in the email, the claim for a micro inverter has been approved. Once we receive the part, we will reach out. That micro inverter has nothing to do with the settling. So, for months now, we've reached out upon the settling, and they've pushed us off. Dana has addressed it in his email, and she said as soon as they got it scheduled, they'd be out again to us. I think we need to start really,
Every week,
I think if you could send an email, it steps up the tone just a little bit more.
Yep.
That you met with the board of selectmen, and they're unhappy that they're not able to have the service on these panels sooner than later.
Boy, if you were buying it, Dave, some more panels, they'd be out there tomorrow.
Right, so just, it's been 6 months we've been trying to schedule this
Oh,
with
yeah.
her. And we wanna know what in her schedule is impeding them coming out.
The weather's been perfect for this too, you know? Just-
Says, hi Dana, regarding the service, we are currently looking into dates that work will come and fix the array. The panel that is showing unproductive is believed to be affected by the settling array. So I will have answers on that once we get out to fix the settling. I am working on getting a replacement microinverter for the one that is faulty now, as soon as I hear back. So they have that microinverter for the one that's not putting out as much as it should. And, we're also working behind the scenes of getting the correct, see if there's any money back from New Hampshire Renewable Energy for our project to reduce the $50,000
Right,
purchase.
I think, we need to have an accounting of, what the potential, buyout would be.
We're working on that,
Yeah. And we just have to delineate where all the monies came in from the federal government, where they got reimbursed.
I think there's a list of them. Federal
Okay.
government.
Federal and state, excuse me.
And then the last note I have here in the mailbox. Donna White said they were okayed. Building department revenues verified, required by the auditor. Revenues were all verified on that, Lean?
That's just an extra, checks and balances our auditors has asked us to make sure our departments are monitoring.
Okay.
Kudos to the building
Public.
You can go back to the sign for a minute.
Okay,
Pardon?
Do you have that paper?
come on up, you got a better picture?
No, I read the email
He's
though,
gonna make an
but I
announcement
didn't-
about the fire
so he sent me another one.
Okay,
Says, with the size and style, the vent above will not be encroached by any means. I'm looking back to the project to see if the decrease in size will call for a price decrease.
That's nice.
It should.
yeah, so she works on the font and the colors of the town of Dunbarton. I think we'll let her go with it.
And the price decrease.
We have a new personnel policy here with the change on, if we could all sign that.
Justin.
Hey, Justin.
John confirmed that there was, with the sign, with the fire department, there's gonna be commensurate decrease in price.
It's not gonna encroach on the vent.
Oh, no, I know it's not, but I didn't get a price quote, did he say
He
anything
didn't
on
give
it?
a quote, he said the price should decrease because the sign's increased.
Okay,
The election money still.
Lean, you were gonna write up,
I didn't.
you got the correct name, give me the meeting minutes from those meetings,
Yeah, they're right in here,
Justin,
we have two of those and sign them,
we did that already, that's all ready for you.
and.
Okay. Remember the dollar amount per hour?
35, 24 hours.
Okay, we had the non-publics last week, we spoke about earlier when we approved them. We met with the, fire chief, and we've decided, after having the non-public meetings and looking at the recommendations from the fire chief, as well as Mike Kaminsky and his review of the applicants, to offer the job to Brandon Scoglin. He works in our fire department now, his qualifications, were exemplary on the job there. He has the EMT background as well as the, paramedic background that we were looking for the position, as well as all of the extra, information we have there. He agreed with the dollar amount that we had offered, it was a $35 an hour with a, 24-hour a week maximum, able to adjust his hours if he has more fire calls one week than another week. So I'm gonna make a motion, that we offer Brandon Scoglin the job at that rate per hour, 24 hours per week. And there is gonna be a forthcoming contract with all of the details for him to sign within the next few weeks here shortly.
With the starting date of,
Starting date of, January 1st.
thank you.
I'll second that.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that portion is taken care of. Lean, can we send letters out to the other applicants and thank them for the town of Dunbarton? Need to make sure they're all notified of that. And, appreciate them putting their applications in. We had some very good applications from towns to review. Okay, so that's done. Justin, you wanna put those back together in there, so.
Let's mess that right up, didn't you?
Now, I'm gonna open it up, cause I think that's the last thing on the agenda for public comment.
So, I believe we have a meeting, you have a meeting, the date after New Year's?
After
No, we
what?
just canceled that.
Excuse me?
We canceled the second,
Oh, you canceled it?
yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna meet on the 9th and next.
And so that's the next meeting, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, alright, just wanted to make sure of that.
yeah.
Okay, coming across the room, any other public comment?
Yep.
Okay, you got some?
What's, on the agenda for building maintenance this year?
We haven't discussed it quite yet.
Okay.
You got some stuff to go over for your
Your building is it's rotted. It hasn't seen paint in 5 to 7 years, and when they did paint it,
We just did portions of
they
it,
did one side of it, and one section, and now the rest of it is, I mean, there's rotted wood, you can see it. Just, I didn't know if it was on your,
We haven't set the amount yet, Woody, but I think we're probably gonna keep it similar to what we had this last year,
Yeah,
which
we
will
did-
allow us some good maintenance down
And we
there.
did
for
a
it.
lot of good projects this year too, so.
yeah, just, I mean, that building's,
We didn't do big projects this
No,
year,
no,
but we did
no.
a ton of small ones,
Yeah.
which is keeping the town up on all of these maintenance items.
And we wanna get it before it rots, so the thing is, we gotta, if you send an
Make sure
email.
after the first of the year, get us on the agenda and we'll
yeah,
get you
you
going.
won't be able to see it unless there's any, unless the snow's gone anyways, cause once the snow comes, you can't get behind that building. 'cause
Well,
of all-
any repair will happen in the
No, no, I
spring.
mean to even look at it.
Yeah, okay.
Cause the snow comes off the roof and builds up behind the building, so.
We'll probably have the carpenter do the maintenance of it, the replacement of the wood, and then have it come back and paint the building.
Okay. I know some stuff we're gonna try and do in-house, our
Did you get
bench,
your additional roof panels up there?
those are up there. Yeah.
Okay, good.
There's some floor work that's gonna need to be done in the office bathroom area.
So you got new pavement there this year, and
Yes,
you got your new
They
cement
Jeff
slab.
did an excellent job, I mean, Pete fixing them spots that were.
Yeah.
In, like Jeff and I talked, at some point, in the very near future, you're gonna have to overlay that facility, or you're gonna lose the rest of it.
Yeah.
That was kinda what he didn't say exactly when, he just said at some point they are gonna have to overlay this, cause it's getting, it's a base coat that's been there for 2002, cause they never wanted to top it. Well, now you're at the point where you're gonna have to do something, so, but at least him and Pete did an excellent job fixing that. So I'm not, we're not tearing it up plowing or nothing like that, so, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, thanks for keeping us in mind with that. In the spring, we'll definitely look at that, and we'll keep it in mind when we're setting our budget for that amount.
Yeah, I remember the paint job, the first one, I mean, the one you
Yeah.
did a couple of years ago was not the greatest.
They
It was
did,
just a
they
partial.
did like one front and one side.
I remember that.
Yeah. We were using up the money we had left in the budget that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's agreed, cause I think, the other thing, we kinda gotta look back at Jeff's building a little bit too, I think the paint might be getting a little rough on that. The rest of these, we've been keeping them up pretty good. We redid some of this building last year, did that one this year,
We did siding on the fire department, so that one's been taken care
yeah.
of.
The thing is, we make fun of the fire department, the water leak is still there.
Yeah.
Only thing that's gonna solve that's a new roof.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
Big
alright, any other public comment around the corner there, is that, you're the last guy here, okay. That being said, I'm gonna close it up to the public, bring it back to the town administrator.
okay, I just wanted to remind the board that you gave the, okay for the office staff to, close their hours a little bit early on Christmas Eve and
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, and they've chosen to do that, they understand it's without pay. There is one employee that has adjusted her hours so that she has hours to cover, but, we'll be closing, the town clerk is closing, Christmas Eve at noon time, the remainder of the office will be closing at 2, and the 2 PM will stand for, New Year's Eve as well. We posted it on the outside doors already, so that we have advance notice for the public, and we'll make sure we put it on the website.
Okay,
They gonna be
Thank
open
you,
on
Lean.
Friday?
Yeah, Thursday and Friday, we're fine, regular days.
and Justin, you have anything?
Yeah, I need to go over, some encumbrances for the cemetery committee, cemetery trustees. We have a couple things here, gravestone services of New England, we have some monument repair that didn't get done, in time this year for an amount of $1,250. So we're looking to get that encumbered in our funds. We also have some, more benches around the center cemetery. So for a bench install, that would be $600 we're looking to encumber. And then we wanted to try and encumber some bench engraving, but we're being told that it shouldn't be taken out of that account, so I have another invoice. We're looking to do some drone imagery, in the cemeteries, that totals to $5,600 estimate, but we only have, I believe it's a remaining balance in that to encumber of $1,400.63. So we'd like to encumber that money to go towards that invoice, get drone imagery done in the cemeteries.
I don't have an issue with you, Mike.
I'm sorry?
You have an
Well,
issue?
can we encumber a partial amount to pay for it and then pay for the rest of the next year's funds, how does that work?
I'm pretty sure we can.
I think you can.
Okay.
I think we've done that in the past, haven't we?
I don't know if we've ever done a partial.
Partial, a partial, I don't think. But which is fine, I have no issue, I just wanna make sure we're not doing
Yeah, we're
everything.
just, well, I mean, there's, well,
3,300 in your bank, in your balance right now.
yeah.
I'd
Just
say
read the report today.
we could encumber the 3,300 so they can have the money, and, the difference would be.
It's 3,300 even?
$13.
Oh,
So pretty much do 3,300.
just minus 18. Yeah, so 1463. Mike is usually pretty good at numbers.
See, the same amount, so you're looking to encumber 1463,
Yeah,
but you'll,
of the,
okay.
no,
And no more than that.
just for that invoice, for this invoice for the drone imagery.
Okay, so there'll be 2 encumbrances, one for this,
3, one for gravestones, for monument repair, cause we
Write the
got,
dollar amount by each one of those.
he's got it,
that's all right in.
1250, 600.
Yeah,
We'll add them
the
all on.
one, they did.
I recommend you make the motion since he's the,
Yeah, I was just questioning whether we could take it out of the tax-paying budget when it's already been collected through.
Well, that's why we're doing this, instead of this.
Okay,
I think it's just a shell game, but
okay, which ones are you looking to encumber for?
this invoice that I need to send you,
Yeah,
1463, this is a $5,600 invoice.
okay.
So we're gonna encumber 1463 from this year's budget, and then we'll use the rest from 2025.
Okay, and what about
All
the
of them
other?
are partials on Justin?
no, just one, just the imagery.
So the repair you wanna do for $12.50,
Yep,
okay, which I get.
and then the bench install for 600, and then 1463, we're gonna encumber with this invoice. Towards this invoice.
Okay, which is the difference.
Yeah, that all totals for that number.
Then I'll make a motion, Justin, I'll make a motion on your behalf, if you would. I'll make a motion to encumber the
$3,300?
$300 or $1,250 towards the,
Especially you.
cleaning.
Monument repair.
Monument repair, $600 for the bench install, and $1,463 towards drone
Drone
imagery.
imagery for all three cemeteries to increase.
I'll
It's for-
second Mike's motion.
Got it.
And
You're gonna send
Yeah,
me
I'll
this
send
one.
that to you.
As long as you have the amounts, right?
Yep,
It's all right there.
And just, for the record, the remaining funds for the drone imagery will be coming out of their, operating budget for next year.
Yeah, either our operating budget or we have an expendable trust that we have money in that we can use at our disposal.
We're in discussion phase, Dave? Any other questions?
Nope.
I don't know what that was.
All in favor?
Aye,
All the same.
Okay.
great.
Aye.
Good.
Yeah, good. Mike, you have anything?
I'm good, I'm good.
I'll just send it to you now.
I brought everything I had up during the meeting, I think, so.
so the $14.63 applies to the imaging bill.
Yeah. Send it to you now.
Got it.
Justin, just out of curiosity, what does the drone imagery help you with? Just find out, I know there was some unmarked graves they found like before. or something like that.
I'll send the email to her and then I can read what
Okay.
it's gonna do.
Lean, is this for me? Just to have?
Yes, we just updated, we found that there was a number that we should be using as town officials for, the police department emergencies, and it's not at 911, so it's highlighted on there.
Oh, the thing is,
Did you give me a non-public schedule, you know, to go in and out?
I do.
Oh, yes, oh, I have it here.
Oh, you do?
So Mike,
Thank you.
it's basically gonna take a high resolution imagery and GPS ground control points, all three cemeteries, and incorporate it to kind of
With the mapping?
to help map it.
Great. I'm leveraging technology to help
Yeah.
do a better job.
Okay, to keep this rolling, Justin, you're all set?
Yeah, we'll do
Mike will bring it back to you.
We
for-
had a risk,
Joint loss.
joint loss this week, and there was a great discussion that the chair of the committee brought up around some of these, this group that comes and visits you.
Yeah,
Please help me out with,
I know.
yeah, it's,
It's a 90, it's why am I drawing a blank?
they're not free staters, but they're,
they basically inspect your areas, and there are some improvements that we gotta be made. The thing is, it's important that
It's the
employees.
First Amendment group?
First Amendment.
That they don't become, shall I say, confrontational with them, because they have rights to go in everywhere. And like, even these cabins here, if the cabins were unlocked, they have perfect right to go in there and look in there. And so it was, the thing is like, even Woody's area, if there's no personnel allowed in the building, if they can't see the sign and the door's open, they can walk in there. And they can basically go anywhere they want, and if you don't allow them access to what's perceived as public access, they sue the town for money.
But he did say if the sign was there and they got in without seeing the sign, you could ask them politely to be escorted out because it does
Right.
clearly say.
And they were just, it was a good, all the departments represented, it was a good overview of how our employees should act to them. And for example, in the town clerk's office, can you look with binoculars, can you see someone's, personnel information by standing at the window? Well, according, they do that in some places, but NHMA said they can't use binoculars and do that, it's not legal. It's not, it's more not with the rules that they're gonna follow. But it was a good education for our department chairs, they gotta go forth and make sure that all the personnel know, these people come, just do not become confrontational. The more confrontational you become with them, they'll film it and post it and sue us. And so I just thought it was, the police chief and I think every department had a great discussion talking about their particular areas and how they could be subject to inspection. So I just thought it was an eye opener for me, even for Woody, you were pointing out
So
some
that's
things.
why I have shades drawn in my windows, because if there's shades, they can't look in. And we have signs that say employees only.
Right.
Technically, according to the way the law is written, like the firehouse, when they open the door over there, anyone can legally enter that building, because he does not put anything across that deters anyone. Like our buildings, we have rope that goes across, as soon as you put that across, you cannot enter that building. And actually, I think you gotta have there's a little sign they put up, but once that's blocked off, they cannot enter that building.
And they have, what town did they just hit, was it Warren?
Warner.
And it's, a lot of this company's out from Massachusetts, it's a for-profit company, and they're just basically pushing the envelope of freedom of information and et cetera, et cetera.
And one of the things the police chief mentioned was that, for instance, in this building where they can see a lot of stuff, any documents that you have, that you should flip them upside down on your desk, because if someone has a document on their desk, it's free for the viewing for them. Personnel, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
They can view it.
even the copy machine, you know how you just do it remotely, if it's coming off here, you better be down here to collect your document if it has personal information.
But they also recommend that you don't use your personal phone or
Right.
in the event you've been.
But overall, I just wanna report back to the board, it was a great educational meeting for our employees and the department chairs, and I give kudos to the police chief for bringing it up in that. It was kinda quasi, but it was risk to the town, and I thought it was worthwhile.
It seems to be that target towns are ones that have issues, like Warner went through an issue, so they target them. And they feed off from it, is how this all comes about. You know, if you had a big issue here where something got blown up in the paper, or whatever to that event, you're gonna see them flock in here, that's what they do.
And basically, they fund themselves by suing the town.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, but I just wanna report that, police chief did a great job, and I thought all the department heads brought in some personal experiences and talked about their individual departments to protect themselves.
Thanks for bringing that to the board, Mike. That being said, we're gonna go into a non-public here, if I can read this, like to go into a non-public per RSA 91 -A, colon